Hello, welcome to my channel. Vice Rhino here. Cirrus over there.
Hi.
Cirrus is like in a bunker or something, trying to not get blown over. Cirrus is trying to not get blown.
Here, I don't have a plug in here. Thank you. Trying to plug in batteries. Fennec says no meat service today. I decided to do Avatar today anyway. I did it on stream earlier today before I had to stop it to go do prep. The original plan was just to start my stream at 1 p.m. and end my stream at whenever the fuck this ends.
But
that got interrupted by a hurricane. Yeah, it was like, so it was coming down as a Cat 3 with 40 mile an hour winds, which is fine. That's reasonable because we're on a hill. It's very hard to flood us. Winds usually like come up and down, but they don't lift anything up. The most we have to worry about is a tree falling down, which has happened a few times. However, they got upgraded to a Cat 4, entering with 140 mile an hour winds, just shy of a Cat 5. And specifically, the 10% of the hurricane that's going to hit us from the outer ridge should be about a little over 80 mile an hour winds. That's what we're going to be experiencing, apparently starting 1 a.m. tonight. So, yay! That's where I'm at right now. I would like power, but my power's definitely getting knocked the fuck out here in a bit. So I'm glad we have a shit ton of water stored because we're on a well system. So when when our power goes, so does our water.
If only you had an electric vehicle that could power a house for 3 days. And Neuromdipus says, "Thank goodness you're here. I was worried baby Jesus would stop crying."
So. You know, if only I had an electric vehicle that could power a house for 3 days. That would be fantastic. Would you like to help me with a down payment for an electric vehicle that can power my house for 3 days?
I mean, you're living in rural Georgia, so I imagine that unless you plan on charging at home most of the time, there's not much infrastructure down there.
You have to be very picky and choosy. So most Krogers have the EV charging. Some Publixes have the EV charging, and government complexes have areas for EV charging. But most of our gas stations do not have anything any supplemental infrastructure on them right now. So it is very hard to actually charge them up out here.
Oh, the thing that drives me nuts is that even when there are a lot of chargers around, the companies that provide the chargers don't seem to have realized that we figured out the payment system ages ago. Like, you can go to the actual gas pumps and I have my debit card on my phone, so I just tap my phone on the pump and it says, okay, fill up with gas now, and then leave. I go to the charger at the same gas station, got the same brand logo on it, and it's like, oh, first you need to download the app, then you need to put your credit card number into the app, then you need to confirm your account, then you need to wait until the confirmation goes through, and assuming there's no technical difficulties in there, which there usually are, you can then not tap your phone to charge it, but you have to like find your location in the GPS map and then select the station that you're at with the number on the station thing and then pay through the app and then it'll unlock the thing. How does
none of that just,
it's like,
how can that not just work through the fucking thing?
I don't know. Like, debit and credit cards have been a thing for so long now. Why are you trying to lock me into I get it. It's because they want to lock me into their ecosystem, but it's like, I'm charging at home 99% of the time. When I am out, I am just going to whatever station is convenient. I'm not looking for a specific brand.
Yeah, I just have to wonder how much driving you're doing if you're always topped off when you leave, though.
The range in my car when it's full is like 400 kilometers, which I don't know what that is in miles.
That's about 100 miles.
Oh, it's not. It's 250.
Is it 250?
Yeah.
Huh.
So 250 miles.
I mean, that's only half of what my vehicle gets, and I don't have to fill up but once a week.
Yeah,
that's why I'm wondering like how much charging you end up having to do.
Not a lot. It would almost none outside the home. Like the only time I've had to charge outside the home is when I drove to BajaCon, and that was a 4-hour drive.
Yeah, and 4 hours is enough to yank about a quarter of my gas, so that would be about a half of your charge.
Yeah, like I probably could have made that whole drive and then gotten home without charging.
Yeah, but that would have been reckless.
Yeah, well, also it's a 4-hour drive. I'm gonna stop for food at some point, so while I'm why don't I just actually stop, get out of the car, and like while I'm eating, it can charge a bit. So like it never actually got to a full battery from when I was charging, but it was enough that it gave me a buffer. But it was I actually had to find a different station the first place I stopped because the app wouldn't confirm my account. And it didn't just have a pay with debit at the fucking charger.
Yay.
So it's like electric vehicles could be fine on long road trips, but like everybody else is saying, the infrastructure is garbage. And like we've figured out the ideal infrastructure for road trips. It's called gas stations. If they do that with chargers,
which really should just be you install a single electric vehicle charger at a gas station, and then if you find that you need another one, you install another one at that point. You slowly install them, unless of course there's like a problem with that. There may be some shipping problems with that I'm not considering.
In the States, at least, the biggest problem is with new grid connections. It's like, especially
everything's graded for a certain yield right now, and once you start pushing above that, you're breaking circuits.
So yeah,
no, that makes sense.
There's a lot in it. Like it's not as simple as just build more charging stations. There's a lot that needs to happen behind the scenes. But like, just from a consumer standpoint, the payment thing should just be the same as everything else. I don't need an app to shop at Walmart. I don't need an app to buy gas. Why do I need an app to charge my car?
This is why cell phones are not a luxury item. They have ceased being a luxury item a long time ago. Like, we should just have government issue cell phones. I'm not even fucking lying on that one. If you're going to have a piece of technology that is required to interact in the real world, that is required to get a job, that is required to do anything, that should be provided. It can be a base fucking model. I don't care.
Yeah, but
it should be provided.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's life. I know you're getting a deluge from a hurricane, whereas me, my Windows notification section is telling me that I can expect heavy rain tonight, and I checked the forecast. The heavy rain that we're supposed to get is about half an inch all night. I'm just like, Cirrus will think that is cute.
Let me see here. Expected weather. Redacted area. Let's see here. Only 4-mile-an-hour winds right now. That's not going to maintain. Oh, tropical storm warning in effect right now. The winds tonight are going before landfall. We're gonna hit 35-mile-an-hour winds. Let's see here. How many inches of rain where I am? Let's find out what that looks like. Potential heavy rainfall, 1 to 2 inches of rain expected. I think we've already surpassed that by now. Like,
I was expecting a bigger number.
I think it's because the actual landfall is going to be tomorrow, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So that's when things are going to get worse.
Yeah, so I actually, because a couple of weeks ago we had the first ever tornado warning that I've experienced in my life. We get put on tornado watch about 2-3 times a year. But a couple of weeks ago we actually got a tornado warning, which was like everybody's cell phones go off with the emergency alert sound saying, get into your basement ASAP. And the kids actually kind of enjoyed it because, like, I don't know, like, I was working, they were all home, my phone goes off, I see what it says, so I just like yell at everybody go downstairs and watch TV now.
Oh yeah, because it's an interesting shakeup to your day. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, what was funny though is that the youngest, which they're young, they don't really understand, but when like they were asking like, why do we have to be down here? And so we're trying to explain it to them in a way that's not going to make them scared. Because like realistically, like the area that was under the tornado warning was so large that like the chances that it's actually going to hit us, and like it's more likely going to be in like the Niagara Falls, St. Catharines area, which is like 20 to 30 minutes away from us. Like it's almost zero. Like we were right at the edge of the warning area, so it's like, yeah, no, it's not really gonna, like there's no chance of it gonna hit us. But like once they kind of understood that, like, oh well, like a tornado could actually tear down a house, they immediately were like, but all my stuffies are upstairs. It's like, okay, kid, we can buy you new stuffies if our house blows down.
Yeah, it's better to make sure that your flesh bits are covered. Like you get to the lowest possible area where the winds are going to do the least possible damage. You make sure there are the fewest possible windows.
Yep.
Lay in a bathtub. Like there's all kinds of stuff that you can do.
Axo says, no, you can't. Those fuckers have emotional value. Yeah, I know they do.
I understand that they have emotional value. Now you will understand that I don't care.
No, I was just so my oldest has a bunch of stuffies in their room, and we are hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be moving soon. We've already got an offer put in on a house that's like got bedrooms for everybody. And so part of that is we're having to sell our house, and we're doing showings and stuff. And so all of our stuff is basically in the car right now, but all of Rory's stuff, like all her stuffies, were in a big garbage bag. And on the day of the showing, I went into the room and I cleaned it out, and part of that was like I removed garbage. And so there was like, they woke up in the morning and were like, or they got home and were like, all my stuffies were in a garbage bag. Did you throw them out? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't have thrown out your stuffies. I know how much they mean to you, and there's stuffies in there that I am emotionally connected to. Like her first ever stuffy, her favorite bunny from when she was a baby is in there, and it's like I have a picture of her right after. I have a picture of them right after they took their first steps, leaning over my shoulder, cradling favorite bunny in her arm and sucking their thumb, and I was terrified that like I threw out the stuffies. I'm like, because like I said that like, no, I wouldn't have done that, because like, yeah, if I knew what they were, I wouldn't have done that. And in that moment, I just needed them to go to school. But like when they were gone, I was just like, I might have thrown out the stuffies. Thankfully, my partner found them. They were in the garage.
That's good.
They did not get thrown out. But it was just like, whew. Secular Storm Chaser says Canada's warnings are massive, quite literally multiple counties if you compare it to the US ones. Yeah, it was fairly big. Basically the entire Niagara region was under a warning.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how that compares to American counties. Anyway, let's do some news while Sir still has power, because he doesn't have his computer hooked into a UPS, because he's a noob.
Hey. I can't do anything about that right now.
No, you can't. Oh, like, yeah, no, I'm a professional, so if my power goes out, I can still stream for like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. I want you to eat cream corn.
Not corn cream?
Laced with cyanide.
Oh. So I actually kind of like cream corn.
That's fair. It's, you know what? Then it'll be a wonderful last meal. You'll enjoy it.
I wouldn't say wonderful. Like, it's not.
You don't think so?
It's not a side dish that I would choose like as a replacement for other side dishes that I actually like. But like,
you just get to go out like that one Cyanide and Happiness short where you just get a mouthful of corn, and then the electric chair goes off, and then you just deliver popcorn for all.
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't seen that one. Anyway, a Haitian group in Springfield, Ohio is filing criminal charges against Trump and Vance.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised about that.
Tina for €5 says Germany has frequent alarm system tests. Best time to send us into the Stone Age is during a test when everybody would ignore legit alarm. Yeah, we don't get tests very often, but like our Amber Alerts, which do Amber Alerts in the States?
Yes.
Yeah, so Amber Alert when a kid goes missing, or is abducted, they are very widespread. Anytime a child goes missing in like Toronto, which is an hour and a half to 2 hour drive away, depending on where in the city, we get Amber Alerts down here for that.
I remember when my mom made me watch the Lifetime movie that is about the origin of the Amber Alert. Because, of course, that's a Lifetime movie.
A Lifetime movie.
Do you know what a Lifetime movie is?
I am aware of it. Oh,
okay.
Senshini says we have silver alerts. That's when the old people go missing, right? I'm pretty sure we have those as well.
Jesus.
Oh,
see, but isn't
Diehard Anime
Trump's
Otaku says, I finally got my continuous glucose monitors for my T1 diabetes. Hopefully I can keep getting them from now on.
Excellent.
Yeah, so my partner was using those for a while. They are much better than the test strips. And it's supposed, like, I don't know what your situation is, but I know for her it was supposed to be a temporary thing, just to like kind of get used to what it feels like to have different blood sugar things going on. But yeah, we actually found that her blood sugar doesn't really correlate very well to how she's feeling.
Oh, well.
So like there are times when she'll be like feeling exhausted and wiped out, but her blood sugar is normal. And other times she feels like getting up and cleaning the house, but the blood sugar is like in the red, saying like, no, you need to eat something right now. So yeah.
Yeah,
one of those things, it can be very helpful, but having too much data can sometimes also not be very helpful.
Because then you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, but I'm fine.
Oh, and Lady Merlin says, I'm glad I can watch y'all while I'm in recovery from bottom surgery. Congratulations on the bottom surgery.
Woo-hoo. Congrats on, I don't know what it was, so I don't want to say the thing that immediately came to mind, but congrats on it.
I mean, I can take a guess based on the username being Lady Merlin.
Congrats on wiener removal.
Dicks are weird. Glad you ditched it. But on the off chance that we have it backwards, congrats on the new dick.
One or the other.
One or the other. Either way, I'm happy for you.
Man, a Haitian group deciding that it needs to just sue Trump and Vance is wonderful.
It is. It really is. So the leader of a nonprofit representing the Haitian community of Springfield, Ohio, filed criminal charges Tuesday against former President Donald Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, over the chaos and threats experienced by the city since Trump first spread false claims about legal immigrants there during a presidential debate. Sorry, I almost automatically flipped the legal to illegal. They say, but yeah, no, they're there legally. Trump spread lies about him that were started by J.D. Vance. So
remember, if he needs to tell lies in order to have people pay attention to him, then that's what he's gonna do. That's what he said anyway. And why would J.D. Vance lie? Oh.
Yeah. So fun thing about the Haitians in Springfield is when you actually look into it, they were recruited there because Springfield had a bunch of manufacturing jobs open up and none of the locals were applying. They had a worker shortage. So the companies that were having all these job openings that they couldn't fill literally reached out to them to say, hey, I will hire you. Come here and work for me.
Yeah, that's that. And you know what's funny? So one of the politicians that are actually in Springfield, who is a Republican, had to specifically say, yeah, no, the businesses love having them here. We brought in a bunch of tourism. We didn't have the hands to take care of everything. These people came in and they took all those jobs. And now things are hunky-dory.
Yeah. So yeah, they not only are they there legally, but they were invited there by the companies that couldn't fill jobs with locals. So like, when you hear about the illegal immigrants taking our jobs, it's like, no, there were too many jobs and nobody was filling them, so they asked for more people to. And what's crazy though is like, all the same people complaining about immigrants taking our jobs are the same ones who will post infographics about how the birth rate is declining as though that's a bad thing, and they'll fearmonger about that and be like, okay, well, you're saying here that we need more people, and you're saying here that we can't have more people. Which is it? I know what it is. It's the racism. It's the those people's skin is the wrong color. I know that that's what underlies it, but like, how do they justify it?
Very carefully.
Not very carefully. They're not good at it. They're not good at being careful with this shit.
No, they're not. But, you know, you can't get that mad at them. Their brains no worky too good. That's not their fault.
Yeah. We have a tweet about that later on.
Oh, boy.
I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it. It's been making the rounds. Elon commented on it.
I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see.
So yeah, they've been charged with disrupting public services, making false alarms, telecommunications harassment, aggravated menacing, and complicity. The filings asked the Clark County Municipal Court to affirm that there is probable cause to either refer the case for further investigation or to issue arrest warrants against Trump and Vance. So yeah, I think this is the quickest that anyone that Trump has brought into his circle has ended up being charged with a crime. At least that we know of.
It's very, very... It's usually like a few months at least, right?
Well, it's been a few months. It's usually like a year or two.
And then maybe it's not that different than, you know, every other time this has happened.
You know, Trump's just going to throw Vance right under the bus for this one.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely.
100%. There's no chance that he takes any of the blame for this. It's just going to be like, yeah, no, JD is someone that I trusted, and so I thought that if he said it, it was verified, so I was just repeating what he told me.
The man on the TV told me. Well, I don't know if it's true or not.
My God. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I don't know if it's true.
But I saw it on the TV. The person on the TV said so.
I'm 70 years old. It's not my fault.
That was really a thing that a presidential candidate said during a debate. No, it's true because the man on the TV said it. Like, come on.
The man on the TV told me to.
What the fuck kind of people are running the simulation?
I'll have you know, I've been told by the smartest people that the simulation is working as intended. Okay? Okay.
Helene's eye is still by Cuba. Shouldn't get too bad until tomorrow night. Maybe just general precipitation tonight for Georgia.
Yeah, general precipitation right now, but things are going to get spoopy here soon.
So I literally just today hired an editor.
Okay.
And my editor lives along the path of the hurricane somewhere.
Oh. That's awful.
Like, I wish them well, but we also we can give them a challenge and see if they can, because this is the editing this down into clips. Editing this down into clips is going to be their first assignment. So let's see how well they do in taking out our random tangents and putting them into the clips video, because sometimes that's a hard decision to make. It's like, this kind of related to the point. Do I remove that and put it in the tangent one, or leave it in this one? Sometimes I do both.
You know, it's funny. So for my end, because I just take the entirety of when we start a new segment and then the ending of the new segment and do that as a video, I get some comments sometimes where they're just like, man, Vice Rhino really just goes off into the weeds all the time in these. And I'm like,
ADHD is a beautiful thing.
One, so the fuck do I. Two, if you want the version where he doesn't technically, go watch the version that's on his channel.
Yeah, no, so
there are two different versions of this video you can watch, and one of them is more friendly for that.
So I will say that splitting that out into its own video is good for, like, milking the content. But it didn't start as me being like, ooh, I could get an extra video out of this. It actually started from me being like, this discussion really kind of distracts from the thing that we were talking about with the news item, so I should probably cut it out. But it was a fun discussion. Maybe people still want to see that. So, okay, I will put it in its own thing. And so that's where that came from with me, because, like, our conversation about me hiring an editor has nothing to do with Trump getting charged with crimes.
Yeah.
And it kind of takes away from it. But I have ADHD, you have ADHD. It's gonna happen. I don't fight it anymore.
It's where we are.
I got so many shorts out of the streamless with Forrest. The worst part about that was, like, I think all of the shorts that I clipped are now public. But like, I actually clipped like 5 or 6 more. But something like when I was exporting them, there were a few that I don't know, I did something wrong and they weren't the correct format for a short, and so it just wasn't like, it didn't really fit.
Yeah.
Like it like when I uploaded it to YouTube, it wasn't going to publish as a short. It was going to publish as a regular video, and that would completely tank me in the algorithm. And rather than actually like go back in and fix it, because like there were so many of them that I couldn't even figure out which ones I needed to fix. I gotta change hats now. So yeah, I actually just was like, okay, well, whatever. The whole stream's live, and all of the shorts link to the stream, so hopefully people will find it from that.
It's like, it'll be fine, probably.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that's more shorts than I normally get.
Yeah.
Yeah, so got another hat redeem. I saw Ben Briggs was saying, is VR just wearing the hat because? It's like, yeah, no, I have a redeem on my Twitch thing where if you have enough points, you can make me wear different hats, and I have a collection of them. And when you said that, I was wearing my world's okayest bisexual hat, which I think is absolutely fucking hilarious and kind of fits me. I am kind of bisexual.
Kind of, sort of.
We discussed that in a different one, which
it's close enough for government work.
Oh, there we go. There's a job for the editor. I just referenced another video of mine. You now need to put in my little thingy linking to this. This stream is a test.
You're an asshole. You're an asshole.
I had a lot of great people apply for the job. And
you had a lot of great people, all of the best people.
It was legitimately a hard decision to make, and the people that I turned down, I actually feel bad about, and I might have them do a few things for me as well. But I have confidence in my choice.
Okay. Fair enough.
Anyway, back to the news. Editor's note, this is where you cut back to the news.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Progress only says Rhino bad boss confirmed. Oh.
Yeah.
Rhino as an employer being an asshole comes free with. No, is this a good way to start off the editing relationship?
You might as well let them know how bad it can get.
Okay, so this was actually kind of related to me hiring an editor. I've wanted to do this for a while, but then I'm like, okay, if I'm going to have an editor, like someone that's actually working with me closely, this would be something that like would be a good idea for me to do. I don't know if you guys are aware of the Creator Accountability Network, which is it's a nonprofit, and it's a group of like creators, podcasters, YouTubers, or whatever, that they agree to adhere to certain standards of conduct, and they get certified by the Creator Accountability Network by doing like a sensitivity training or whatever. Like they have courses that you do, and you get certified through it. And then if you ever behave in a way that makes people feel uncomfortable or threatened, or like if I were to suddenly like turn into a sexual predator or whatever, you can call the Creator Accountability Network, and they will like do a mediation thing and an investigation and whatnot. And like, depending on the results of that, they can reject your certification.
Okay.
And like they'll actually work to like get you to actually like be accountable to the shit that you do. And it's like it's a great thing. I totally believe in it. It's too small right now. It needs to be bigger. We need more creators to join up with that. Unfortunately, they're only credentialing people in the States right now. I imagine that's for legal reasons, because they get you to sign contracts and shit. And
that makes sense.
As soon as you make a contract cross a border, you now have extra legal fees that are involved in that, and they're just a small little thing that doesn't necessarily have the resources for that.
That sounds like something I'd like to actually be involved in, though.
Okay, you look into it, man. I highly recommend it. It actually kind of it began when if anyone's been following the thing with opening arguments, Andrew Torres and Thomas Smith had a falling out where like it came out that Andrew Torres was behaving inappropriately around people.
Oh,
and
damn.
He was such a trusted figure within the group of podcasts that he was the lawyer for, that like that was like a really big blow for them. And so the people that used him as a lawyer, the Puzzle and the Thunderstorm guys, they were like, okay, you know what? We need to set up a thing that we are not in charge of that can like make sure that because part of the problem with that is like, because Andrew was their friend, if someone came to them with something, they might give Andrew the benefit of the doubt where he didn't necessarily deserve it.
Yeah.
And so they recognized that, and they were like, okay, I'm going to set up this thing, and then we are going to step back from it so that, you know, it can be this thing that can hold people accountable without taking this personal relationship thing into account. And so I really love what they're doing, and I fully support it, and I wish I could be credentialed for that, but because I'm in Canada, I just can't, because I guess they just don't have the resources right now to do international stuff.
That makes sense.
I did contact them. I'm hoping for like maybe there can be like an informal like I you know, maybe it's not legally binding because you don't have
kind
Canadian lawyers or whatever, but I still promise that I'm gonna...
Kind of like how a union actor can do a non-union project if they do it without pay, like that kind of thing.
Sure, because like, yeah, no, I would love to be a part of that. But unfortunately, they're just not in Canada right now. So I have contacted them to see if there's anything that can be done. I'm expecting a no, we don't have the resources for that at the moment answer, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, we can only hope.
It's a good project, Cirrus. I recommend you do that. And yeah, anyone else, like, encourage American creators that you're aware of to get involved with that as well, because they're doing a great thing.
That would be very, very good, because we've had an actual fucking wave, right, of various content creators who have abused their position in a way that is very inappropriate, that ended up being very bad for different members of their audience, usually female members of their audiences that were young and vulnerable. So yeah, or in many cases, fucking minors. So yeah. Maybe. Hey, this is a good thing.
It is a good thing. I firmly believe in what they're doing. I just wish I could be more involved with them.
Good shit. Well,
anyway.
Any information you have on them, definitely send me a link to.
For sure. I will do that. Okay. Hat can come off now that I'm done with the most serious part of the discussion of the evening. I can take off the ridiculous hat. Anyway, back to Trump getting charged with more criminal charges, and Vance. It says their persistence and relentlessness, even in the face of the governor and the mayor saying this is false, that shows intent, Chandra said. It's knowing willful flouting of criminal law.
Okay.
So then they get into more than 30 bomb threats were directed at state and local government buildings and schools, prompting closures, the assignment of additional law enforcement protection and security cameras. Some of the city's Haitian residents have also said they feared for their safety as public vitriol grew, and Mayor Rob Roux has received death threats. So, yeah. Trump and Vance bringing negative attention to this community has had negative consequences. Who'd have thunk it?
Perish the thought. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then they go on to say, if it were anyone else other than Trump and Vance who had done what they've done, wreak havoc on Springfield, resulting in bomb threats, evacuated and closed government buildings and schools, threats to the mayor and his family, they would have been arrested by now. Yup. And so...
But because they're Trump and Vance politicians...
Yeah, well, Chandra's saying they are not above the law. I mean, they shouldn't be above the law.
They shouldn't be above the law, but they get to operate as if they are.
Yeah. Well, they think they can. Hopefully this will stop them.
Ideally, can only hope.
Apparently Twitch is doing my viewers dirty with all the ads.
So ads, so this thing happened that was really funny where Twitch is concerned. So Twitch started having a much more aggressive ad policy, and that was super problematic. So on my end, I lowered the amount of ads that were available that were forced to go out to my viewers. And it didn't fucking do anything. It didn't actually lower the amount. It lowered the amount I got paid, but it didn't lower the amount of the fucking ads.
Someone gift Staff a sub. Then they won't be able to complain. It'll just be everybody else.
So I ended up putting it back up to the, okay, this is at least enough for me to be paid more.
Thank you for subscribing, Cute Dark Arts.
There we go.
That's
problem
stuff.
Solved. It is the worst thing.
I appreciate the sub, even if it's because you're mad at the ads. If it makes you feel better...
It was Rovalern.
Oh, they gifted it to him? Okay.
Yeah, Rovalern gifted.
Oh, thank you, Rovalern. If it makes you feel better, I never click the run 1 minute ad break button when it shows up. And I also, on YouTube, I should promote my Twitch because fewer people look at me over there, so I should try and grow my audience there. But on YouTube, it gives me the option of, do you want YouTube to automatically decide when to run ads, or do you want to run ads manually? I always choose to run ads manually, and then I never run ads. So
and then it just does ads normal. Then
if you watch it after the stream, it'll be like an ad every 2 minutes because fucking YouTube is greedy like that. They if you're watching one of the videos on my main channel and you see too many ads, that's a sign that I forgot to go in and place the ads manually, because normally I do that, and I refuse to put more than one ad every about 7 minutes, because I figure I maybe this is just me being weird, but I think back to my childhood growing up, and okay, you watch a half-hour show, there'd be 3 commercial breaks in there, so that's one ad break every 10 minutes ish, but then when you account for the time that the ads take, it's really one ad break every 7 minutes ish. So I'm okay, 1 ad break every 7 minutes, that's fine. And then I usually max out after 4 or 5 of them, and then it'll be okay, that's enough. So if my video is an hour long, it's yeah, you get a few ads at the beginning, and then the rest is just whatever. You watch my ads, you can have the rest for free.
No, that's fair. I get it. It makes sense.
Okay. Chandra said the U.S. Supreme Court's July ruling granting ex-presidents broad immunity from criminal prosecution does not apply in this case because Trump is currently a private citizen, and Vance did not amplify the rumors that members of Springfield's 15,000-member Haitian community were eating people's pets in his capacity as a senator. Lying about immigrants is not official senatorial duty.
It's not an official act. That's so they're basically just accepting that, hey, we have to play the stupid game because it's Trump and Vance. But here's how we're going to play the stupid game.
Yeah, they're throwing legal shade. I kind of love it.
Yeah, it works.
I mean, yeah, and then they get into the specifics of the claims. So the made false alarms is by knowingly causing alarm in the Springfield community by continuing to repeat lies that state and local officials have said were false. Committed telecommunications harassment by spreading claims they know to be false during the presidential debate, campaign rallies, nationally televised interviews, and social media. So yeah,
they were eating the dogs.
So to go back into a thing that we talked about in our last stream about Vance being oh, the bomb threats were all hoaxes. There were no actual bombs. It was all people were even calling the bomb threats in from different countries. So it's not they were actual people going to plant bombs. So it's not our fault. We don't need to apologize for that. Okay, guess what? If you hadn't started the rumors in the first place, none of the bomb threats would have happened. And when there's a bomb threat, it has to be taken seriously, whether it's a hoax or not. Until it is determined to be a hoax, you have to treat it as a real threat. So the effect is the same. So, like, if you didn't say they were eating the pets, none of the bomb threats would have happened. So yeah, it's your goddamn fault. And he's acting as though, like, the media needs to apologize to him for spreading the bomb threat thing because all the bomb threats were a hoax. Like, no, that's not the way it works. You caused the bomb threats, and they need to take them seriously. So fuck off.
Does he think that if a bomb threat doesn't go through, it's a hoax? Because that means an explosion didn't happen, but a bomb threat did still happen.
The bomb threat still happened. There just were no bombs.
Most bomb threats don't have bombs. That doesn't mean you treat it like there are no bombs.
Yeah. They committed aggravated menacing by knowingly making intimidating statements with the intent to abuse, threaten, or harass recipients, including Trump's threat to deport immigrants who are here legally to Venezuela, a land they have never known. I like that they added that in there. Because, like, clearly that specific thing, Trump's just going to be... Well, I mean, I don't know if he's capable of admitting when he makes a mistake, but, like, that was clearly him just misspeaking because he doesn't differentiate between the different countries that the brown people come from. It's just all one thing to him. And he's been saying Venezuela for so long that that's just what he said.
Venezuela. It's Venezuela.
God damn it.
Welcome to Vuvuzela.
Vuvuzelistan is in South Africa, Cyrus. Everybody knows that. Come on. Like, I know that, like, that should be his legal defense, was that I just misspoke. Whether or not that actually is, doesn't matter. Like, that would be an adequate legal defense there, because, like, yeah, he did just misspeak. It was a hilarious misspeaking that shows his lack of knowledge of what he's even talking about.
Everybody thought my misspeak was hilarious.
But yeah, like that particular aspect of it won't hold water in court and shouldn't hold water in court, but like the rest of it should. But this does also bring to mind the clip. Did you see where JD Vance was being like, "Oh, these people from Haitian."
Mm-hmm.
Just like, they're so fucking stupid. They're so fucking stupid. I just don't get it.
It's also
why would anyone vote for these guys? They're so stupid.
Because the people who are voting for them are even dumber.
We have a tweet for that, Cyrus.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you did. I told you about it's the same tweet I told you about earlier.
Well, I didn't know it was the same tweet. Fuck.
Should we really fuck with my editor and cut to that tweet now and then go back to the news? No, we won't. No. I'm not going to be mean. Committed aggravated menacing by knowingly causing others to falsely believe that members of Springfield's Haitian community would cause serious physical harm to the person or property of others in Springfield. Yep, they did that. That is the thing that they objectively did. And they violated the prohibition against complicity by conspiring with one another and spreading vicious lies that caused innocent parties to be parties to their various crimes. So yeah, they admitted on national TV that they knew that what they were saying... Well, Vance admitted on national TV that he knew what he was saying was a lie. And also there was one of Vance's aides actually came out and was like, yeah, no, we fact-checked it before he started spreading it, and we told him that there was no evidence for it.
And he just said, fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah. So,
he's such a piece of shit.
He is a piece of shit. So, like,
God, he's such a piece of shit.
Trump may have actually believed it, but Vance knew for sure that it was false when he started spreading it.
Ugh. This makes me really fucking angry.
There's another hat. So as long as we're talking about Trump, I may as well put on my communist, Marxist, fascist, socialist hat.
Kamala is a communist,
those are all the same thing.
Fascist, socialist, like whatever fucking name he can throw. Each one of those is a different fucking ideology.
Some of which are mutually exclusive.
Yeah. A fascist and a socialist do not get along. They don't work very well together.
Yeah, well, the problem is a lot of people that don't really know what they're talking about like when they hear communism, socialism, and Marxism, they think of the USSR. And there were definite similarities between how the USSR operated and how fascism operated. Oh yeah, and also as Jas is pointing out in Twitch chat, but the National Socialist Party, because the Nazis called themselves socialist.
They called themselves socialist. Yeah. Ignore the Night of Long Knives. Wasn't a historical event. Doesn't matter. Not important. Not here. Not now. Wasn't ever.
Yeah,
never happened.
I mean, okay, to anyone that uses the argument that the Nazis called themselves socialists, just point out that Hitler called himself a Christian.
Hitler called himself a Christian.
They immediately point out that, like, there are a bunch of, like, recorded conversations that he had, not, like, recorded as an audio recording, but, like, we have documentation of these conversations where, like, he despised Christianity. He despised religion. He saw it as a tool that he could use. Now, it's quite telling that someone who didn't believe in Christianity saw Christianity as a tool that could be used to, you know, do massive amounts of harm to specific groups of people. Like, that is quite telling. But yeah, no, I am on the side of Hitler was not actually a believing Christian. That doesn't make the fact that he used Christianity to accomplish his goals any less damning to Christianity in general.
I do have to say, though, man, we really should have an album every year of Hitler's greatest hits. Now, unfortunately, it only has one single, and it's when he fucking shot himself. But I mean, let's be honest, it's enough.
Oh, I was wondering where you're going with that.
You're just sitting there like, please don't be yikesy, please don't be yikesy.
Tasha says, it's a banger.
It is a banger.
Oh, goddamn. What am I going to do with you, Cyrus? What am I going to do with you?
Look, I can start any sentence and make it sound like I'm about to get canceled and then just pull it around in the end. Here's a list of all the best things Hitler did.
Oh, God.
He killed Hitler. Cool.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yep. Nobody else could accomplish that, but Hitler killed Hitler.
He managed to kill Hitler. And you know what? That is a fantastic thing that to have died.
You know, what's funny is, like, now I'm thinking, like, oh, I should make a joke about how this stream's not going to be monetized. But what's really funny is, like, I've gone into, like, I've looked at my streams. I don't generally pay attention to what happens to the mainstream, because that's not where I make most of the money on the Watering Hole channel. It comes from the clips. But, like, when I actually look at which ones are monetized and which ones aren't, the ones where we go, like, way off the rails and we're like, oh, that should not, like, I would agree with YouTube if they determined that should not be monetized. Those are the ones that are usually monetized. And the ones where we're the most tame are the ones that are all like, oh, this isn't suitable for ads. So
yeah,
it's kind of weird. YouTube is fucked up. Like, AI is not going to take our jobs anytime soon. They can't even tell whether or not we're joking about Hitler.
Look, Hitler didn't joke about Hitler. Then again,
did you say something there? Because you kind of blinked out of existence for a second.
It just blinked me out of existence for a second. I don't know if that was you or me.
I was waiting for the punchline. I'm just like, what is happening? Cyrus, did like, this would be a terrible time for your power to go out.
Hitler took Hitler seriously, okay? He also seriously took Hitler out.
Okay.
We'll just keep... Look, I think it's funny when the leader of the Nazi party dies. I find humor in when immensely evil villains expire.
Okay.
Anyway, Springfield, Ohio.
So, A. Chapman says, my message didn't show on VR's recap. Gee, wonder why. Yeah, in my recap. Like, are you talking about the clips that I make? Because generally I don't actually cut stuff out unless it's just like a long period of silence followed by one of us going,
Which, you know, happens frequently enough.
My partner just walked out of the room and be like, you guys have silent periods? It's like, okay, fair. But yes, there are occasional, like...
We have our moments where we just, you know, we just shut up and vibe. they're rare. They don't happen often, but you know, it's I'm saying it's not an impossibility.
There are occasionally I have said things that I probably shouldn't have said that do get cut out of the live stream. Normally that is stuff regarding I'm talking about like the legality, not the legality, but like legal proceedings regarding like my partner and her kids and what's going on with her ex and whatnot, and stuff that's like, he's probably never going to see this, but in the off chance that he does, it would be better for us if this is not available to the public. Like, that's the only shit that I have ever cut out of these streams. H. Chapman says I was referring to the box on the bottom left of the screen. I don't know, man. I'm sorry if you feel like you're getting cut out on purpose. It's probably not. I actually kind of like conflict, so like if you say something that I disagree with, I would not cut that out. I would like highlight that and then go out of my way to disagree with it very publicly. So like, I don't know, just and I was being sarcastic since the message was about the end of Hitler. Oh, so this is something that's happening like live now. Okay, this might be like YouTube's bots being overly sensorial.
You said something about Hitler. Yeah. You gotta die.
I'm just gonna blame YouTube for this one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Stoff is saying it's probably YouTube top chat versus all messages. Yeah, I regularly forget to turn my the thing where I can highlight chat messages to live chat. I did remember this time, but I also don't read most of them because I get a lot of messages and most of them just go past without me seeing them. Anyway, I'm sorry if you got sidelined by YouTube's bots, or if it was in live chat versus the top chat or whatever. Because yeah, that it does suck, and it's very bad at figuring out what should be the most popular things. But anyway, on to the next news item.
And user.
Trump ignores the First Amendment and says those who criticize the Supreme Court should be tossed in jail.
Oh, now, boy, I'm so excited about...
I actually...
we talked about Hitler in the last one, but this is literally a thing Hitler fucking did.
The fascism thing, where you like make the media the enemy of the people and jail media that disagrees with you?
Yeah, that's what this is.
Okay.
God, imagine that.
I forgot to... I swear I am not doing this on purpose. I'm not just testing my editor. I'm not just being a jerk, but I forgot to do the news stories that we're not covering because there are things that I want to talk about that we are actually not covering tonight in news stories. So first off, InfoWars is being auctioned off to help pay some of Jones' $1.5 billion in damages. That was a ruling that came down yesterday. So no more InfoWars. They're being auctioned off.
Can we watch the video of Alex Jones crying?
I wish we could. I don't have it queued up though. I'm sorry.
That is unfortunate. I really like that video for reasons I don't think I need to get into.
It's very sexually satisfying.
It is. It makes me feel things that I thought I could never feel. But I feel them very hard when he cries. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of the news item so we can talk about this. But then the rest is about abortion. So these were two separate stories that it took me longer than I care to admit to realize they were two separate stories and not the same story, because like I Googled the headline for one and it came up with the other one. And it took me a while to figure this out. But so in Ohio, there was a woman who was charged with a felony after she had a miscarriage at home. Her water broke prematurely. The fetus was not going to survive. The doctors told her that. She went to several trips to the hospital, but like people wouldn't just give her an abortion. There had to be like they were following the anti-abortion regulations or whatever. Eventually what happened was she miscarried at home in her toilet, and she flushed it because what the fuck else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, what's the other option?
And because she flushed it, she was charged with abuse of a corpse, which is a charge that comes with potentially a year in prison and a $2,500 fine. And Separate from that, there was a South Carolina woman who was charged with murder after she had a miscarriage. She miscarried at her apartment. She had to be taken to the hospital, where she was then questioned by police, and then several weeks later, she was arrested and charged with homicide by child abuse. She spent 22 days in jail, and then she was under house arrest for 13 months before a grand jury finally cleared her of the charges. But, like, this is the post-Roe world. Like, someone has a miscarriage, like someone who wants to have a baby has a miscarriage, an intensely traumatizing event, and then she gets police showing up being like, yeah, we're charging you with murder for having a fucking miscarriage, something that's completely beyond your goddamn control.
We call that a miscarriage of justice. Just saying.
100%.
Yeah,
I get that was a joke, but it's also not a joke.
It's also 100% true. Like, it's a joke, but that's exactly what it is. It's what happens. It's fucking gross.
It's disgusting. It's horrible. And this is why, like, people bring up the statistics. So, like, abortions, like 99% of abortions are elective. It's not because of the health of the mother. It's like, who fucking cares? The fact that, like the people that, like, when it isn't a case of the health of the mother where they're denied healthcare, like a couple women in Georgia died recently because they were denied abortion, because it was actually healthcare. It would have saved their fucking lives, but they were denied that care because the doctors were worried about going to jail and losing their license if they provided that care.
And that's the thing. So, have you seen the Charlie Kirk video of him at Jubilee?
No, I haven't. Okay, about the Jubilee thing, I think it's fucking hilarious that for the conservative side, they actually went to a professional content creator who, like, makes his living responding to those exact points. And then for the liberal side, they just got some random 17-year-old. So, like, they got a literal fucking...
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Nope.
No? Okay.
The random 17-year-old is a TikTok influencer who focuses on political content with almost, he's got 715,000 subscribers.
Okay.
Maybe
it's fair then.
They actually did get a really, really strong person there. And when that person came down, so during the Charlie Kirk video, that guy is one of the ones that does part of his debate with Charlie Kirk, like everybody else tries to in that 20 minutes. When he comes down, he fucking hammers and drills Charlie down into the goddamn ground. And it is hilariously cathartic.
Okay. Back to what you were saying about it.
So when Charlie had his during that whole thing, he argues heavily that anybody who performs an abortion needs to go to jail, needs to be prosecuted, needs to be tried for murder. Mm-hmm. He also talks a lot about the different types of people he would love to kill, which is really, really weird. There's also a moment where he says specifically that if his 10-year-old daughter got raped...
Oh, yep.
If his 10-year-old daughter got raped, she should be forced to carry the child to term. And luckily, that is at the end of the abortion segment of his debate, so I didn't have to watch more of that fucking thing during that moment. But if the video does really well, then I guess I'll have to continue watching more of the stupid fucking thing. Anyway, point is, it's really, really weird to me that people like Charlie Kirk salivate over, oh God, I would love to fucking kill those people who do abortions, those people who harm children. He would love to kill them. But actual mothers die as a result of his ideology, as a direct result of his ideology.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's disgusting. It's horrifying. And this is why abortion, like who fucking cares whether it's elective or not? The fact that, like, doctors are afraid to give life-saving medical treatment to people based on these anti-abortion laws, it's just fucking gross. So, like, that is why we talk about how it's a bodily autonomy thing. It's about, you know, the right of the women to, or the pregnant people to access health care. It should be a choice between them and their health care providers. Politicians they should have no fucking say in the matter. Because anytime they do, like bureaucracy gets involved. There's extra paperwork that literally costs people their lives, because it takes too long to get the paperwork and the approval to give the procedure when it actually is necessary for life-saving medical care. So it's like, no, just leave it up to the doctors and their patients. Let the doctors and their patients make that decision for them. So yeah, normally I wouldn't go back to the news stories that we're not going to cover for stuff like that, but I feel like this is an important thing, especially like it's on the ballot in Florida right now. And like Ron DeSantis is like, this is another news item that I didn't pull, but like DeSantis is lobbying a massive disinformation campaign about it and making it sound like it's actually like, if the amendment to the state constitution passes, it's going to be bad for women somehow. And so like, yeah, it's just gross. Anyway, we'll get back to the news. So I think Fennec didn't want to hear this, so he was muting until we were done with that. So Jassa, you can let Fennec know that they can unmute now. We're going to get back to the news. Orla Seraph says elective only means pre-planned, not unnecessary. Yeah, no, there's elective is a very broad term that can have different definitions. But getting back to the news, Trump ignores the First Amendment and says those who criticize the Supreme Court should be tossed in jail. Now, lest anyone accuse us of like blowing this out of proportion, saying that he didn't actually say this, I actually clipped him saying this, and here we go. That was the wrong button. That was the wrong button. I'm sorry. Button. Yep, I let it play because that's such a beautiful clip. But yeah, this is the actual clip.
They were very brave, the Supreme Court, very brave, and they take a lot of hits because of it. It should be illegal what happens. You know, you have these guys like playing the ref, like the great Bobby Knight. These people should be put in jail the way they talk about our judges and our justices.
Yeah, so he says, if you criticize the Supreme Court, you should be tossed in jail. Literally right out of the fascist playbook.
Yeah,
you shall not.
He should just.
You shall not criticize the government authority. Like, that is fascism. Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
I really do not like Dolan Tramp.
Dolan Tramp?
I do not like Dolan Tramp.
I don't know what that means.
So a long time ago, there was a very, very shitty webcomic about one Dolan Duck. It was a parody of Donald Duck, and it's used very, very awful speech patterns, and there were all kinds of strange things to go with it. There were other parody characters, like one called Spooderman and Gooby for, Goofy. So I'm playing on that for people who remember Dolan Duck, and then Tramp because I needed a way to fuck up his last name too. So why not go ahead and just call him that?
Okay, sure, why not? Okay, so yeah, so he literally said that if you criticize the Supreme Court, you should be tossed in jail. So like, when you talk about bring this up. When somebody says they're a free speech absolutist, like, are you voting for Trump, the guy who said that you should be tossed in jail for exercising your right to free speech?
Well, no, but, maybe. Possibly.
Yeah, so he suggested...
Look, I just like that he speaks his mind, okay?
He suggested that it should be illegal to rebuke judicial decisions or try and advocate in favor of a certain decision. He didn't suggest it. He just outright said it. That's not suggesting it would be like the whole, won't someone rid me of this meddlesome...
Yeah, won't someone rid me of this meddlesome priest?
Yeah, like that is suggesting. Not very subtly, but that would be suggesting. This was just outright stating it.
Suggesting.
This was just outright stating it. Then they quote him saying these people should be put in jail the way they talk about our judges and our justices, trying to get them to sway their vote, sway their decision. So kind of like he did anytime he was on trial. They bring that up later in the article. The former president was referring to the backlash the Supreme Court received after overturning Roe versus Wade in June 2022, which led to actual people dying. Just saying. He called the court very brave for making a decision that everybody wanted. I bet you the people who died didn't want that decision.
Also, he says that about everything that he does. He uses the language first, everybody wanted it, and then he always follows it up with nobody said it could be done. It was done. I did it. Every single time. Without fail.
Yeah. Under the First Amendment, people have the right to complain about government officials and decisions. Trump himself has been safeguarded by this rule when during his New York criminal trial, Trump called Justice Juan Merchan highly conflicted. The former president claimed that District Court Judge Tanya Chutkan was highly partisan and very biased and unfair because she warned him not to make inflammatory statements about the case. Which is just like, his lawyers should have been warning him about that. They shouldn't have even gotten to the judge. Trump has also criticized federal appeals courts. He once called the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals a complete and total disaster with a horrible reputation and claimed the judges were making our country unsafe. So I love how this article is just like not pulling its punches in pointing out that, like, yeah, no, he's telling you that you're not allowed to criticize the Supreme Court, but like he's got a very rich history of complaining about judges and criticizing judicial decisions and criticizing judges in advance of those decisions in an attempt to influence those decisions. The former president stood in front of a crowd of supporters on Monday evening to insinuate it is not appropriate to criticize the Supreme Court, which is comprised of lifetime appointed and not elected justices. He didn't insinuate it. He just said it. This is where they do pull their punches.
This is where they're doing the we want to be protected in legalese terms, even though you don't have to.
He didn't fucking insinuate it. He's outright said it. I have the clip. I can play it again. Or I can't.
They were very brave, the Supreme Court, very brave, and they take a lot of hits because of it. It should be illegal what happens. You know, you have these guys like playing the ref, like the great Bobby Knight. These people should be put in jail the way they talk about our judges and our justices.
That's not insinuation. That's just saying.
That's just saying that it needs to happen.
That is literally just saying, you criticize the people who side with me, you go to jail.
Mm-hmm. There's no ifs, ands, or buts there. Just saying, it is such a shame that this happens. These people should be jailed.
He also criticized the Democrats' desire to pack the court or appoint more judges to balance the conservative to liberal ratio. He claimed that Vice President Kamala Harris wants to make the court 25 justices. It's unclear where that figure originated.
What, 25? Where the fuck is he pulling that from?
I don't know. Like, what? You've given me a number before. Like, what is it if it was actually appropriate to, like, representation of the entire...
So if we had accurate, it would be based on the amount of districts that we have.
Yes.
And there are 13 judicial districts.
So there should be 13 judges.
There should be 13 judges because there are 13 judicial districts.
I recall you saying that before, but I didn't remember the exact number. So I'm like, is it 25? No, it's 13.
No, it's not. It's not 25.
But even so, like, Biden's
judicial circuits, not districts. But yeah, same idea.
Circuits, yeah. So Biden's plan is like every president appoints a new justice every 2 years to serve for 18 years. And like, again, I don't know how that would impact the justices that are already there, but I like that idea. But then it ends with, however, given Congress would need to approve the addition of justices, it is unlikely to happen. This is why it's so important to get out and vote. Like, even like the down ticket stuff, like we're going to get to some down ticket stuff in the next news item. But it's super important to get out to vote because, like, if the Democrats have a supermajority, there's actually a chance of getting Supreme Court reform passed.
And accelerationism
just
does
a reminder,
not get you any closer to that.
Progress only is running for a local office. So it's important to vote in your local elections as well, because the conservatives are like, the Republicans will run candidates in those things that a lot of people just don't turn out for. And high turnout always favors the Democrats. And that's literally why Republicans are in favor of all these voter suppression tactics. Like, it is now illegal to give out water to people waiting in line to vote in some places. Because they know if people are able to get out and vote, they will vote Democrat. Like, Democrats are favored by more people voting, because Democrats being in charge is better for more people.
Yup.
Okay, Rosina. Oh, God damn it! You're just fucking with me now, Rosina. Come on, Rosina. Fuckwagod's minion Keller. Fuck you for making me try and say that.
Wait, hold on, Rosina. Is that a Fofofofogaz reference from fucking Homestar Runner?
Probably.
Is that actually Fofofofogaz?
I don't know. I don't know Homestar Runner, but I am putting my wizard hat on because somebody redeemed a hat. It says, remember when Trump would make racist statements about judges and then claim the judge should recuse themselves from the case due to bias and not liking the racist statements? Yeah. Yep, I remember that.
Rosina says, yes, it is. Hey!
Cyrus got the reference. I did not.
Strong bad reference from Homestar Runner. It's, so Strong Bad had this, he's one of the characters in the Homestar Runner series, and he had a responding to emails section. This is like early internet, when internet video required your own hosting site and YouTube didn't exist. So people would send in emails for Homestar Runner to respond to, because that was a very novel thing at the time. So when Strong Bad would respond to these, you would always put in like your name, your location, and then you would say, hey, like, how do you type with boxing gloves on? Because the character always had boxing gloves. One person put in their name as Fofopogods. They just like face rolled their keyboard, and Strong Bad tried to pronounce it and then tried to make a fucking techno song out of it.
Wayne Cotton 97 says, nerd.
Yeah, 110%. I know where I came from. I am proud of it.
Fair enough.
I love old Homestar Runner cartoons. They're fucking great.
I can't say that I'm familiar with them.
They're worth a watch.
I should probably mention at some point that all three of my stories came to me from my anonymous source, who seems to be really good at picking stories that I will actually cover, because they're not the only one that sends me stories, but they're the ones that I pick most often. So I don't know. We're just on the same page, anonymous guy. Or girl.
Anonymous.
Or non-binary person. You'll never know, because I'll never tell, because they're anonymous.
Dun dun dun.
I feel like saying they're a guy is not that doxing. There's like that's almost half the population.
Yeah, it is 49% of the population. It's true.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Hello.
Rosina, before we go on to the next story, Rosina says, I said, come on. How do you say that word?
Fofopogods.
Sure. Fofopogods.
Everybody to the limit. Everybody to the limit. Everybody come on, Fofopogods.
Okay, that's another meme that I'm not getting. Okay,
that's
fine.
It's from that episode.
Fuck you, Rosina.
It's from that episode.
Okay. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Cyrus is my meme translator. Okay. Last news item for the night. Ohio sheriff instructs residents to list homes with Harris Waltz campaign signs. So this is actually kind of terrifying. So an Ohio sheriff instructed residents to keep a list of homes that display campaign signs in support of the Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris and her running mate Tim Walz in remarks on social media that caused alarm. Which, when we get to the actual remarks, is like caused alarm is like
underselling
it by a lot. Like, you're burying the lead pretty hard here.
Okay.
Zada Hagala says, I will Lloyd improvise said if you know Joey Artonic. you're just fucking with me at this point. Like, fuck off. Fuck off, Zada Hagala. An Ohio sheriff instructed residents to keep a list of homes displaying signs in support of the gun. I just read that. Fuck me. You guys are fucking distracting me. You bastards. He posted, when people ask me what's going to happen if the flip-flopping laughing hyena wins, Zukowski wrote, referring to Harris, I say, write down all the addresses of the people who had her signs in their yards.
What?
Yeah.
What?
He also referred to immigrants as illegal human locusts. So more fascist playbook stuff where you're dehumanizing people.
Why are they fucking
the sheriff.
okay with doing this? Wait, this is the sheriff of where again?
Nottingham. It says later in the article. I don't remember.
Okay, because I want to know, because I think I have a road trip planned now. Because this really cool thing happens at city council meetings
it's somewhere
where you
in
get to talk to the fucking sheriffs. Well, everything goes back to Ohio, I swear to God.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody in my Twitch chat is saying somewhere in Ohio because of course, and then Cute Dark Stoff says it's in fucking Ohio.
It's always
fucking Ohio. So
it's always Ohio.
He refers to immigrants as illegal human locusts, right out of the fucking fascist playbook. Says we'll already have the addresses of their new families who supported their arrival. In the same post, Zukowski added screenshots from several Fox News stories claiming that the Biden administration's immigration policies were fueling a crime wave and destroying small towns. Fun fact, all the violent crimes that Trump was talking about are lower than they were during the Trump administration. So I don't know what they're saying about this crime wave. At least two commenters said they would be collecting the addresses of neighbors who publicly supported the Democratic ticket. So, like, this is voter.
Why do they
this
think
is voter
that's
intimidation.
fucking okay?
This is voter intimidation.
Why do they think that's okay?
It's not okay. I don't know why they think it's okay. Who are Ohio senators? Says Monorail. Isn't JD Vance one of those, or is he Pennsylvania?
Ohio.
Yeah. Okay. Ohio gave us JD Vance. What the fuck do you expect from them?
Better. I expect better.
I'd like whatever donuts make sense. Portage County, or Portage County for those of us who speak French. The Portage County Commissioner, Tody Badalamenti, publicly denounced the post and resigned from the county. So, like, this actually caused a Republican county member to resign. And then in a video
posted, you're too fascist for the other fascists.
Yeah. So in a video posted on Facebook, he said, "This is not leadership I want to be a part of. It scares people. It's called bullying from the highest law enforcement. It's called bullying from the highest law enforcement in the Portage County Sheriff's Office. Portage. Sorry, I'm Canadian. So Niagara Falls has Portage Road, and it drives me nuts because it's portage. Portage is what you do when, like, the river gets too rough, so you pick your boat up and you walk it around the rough spot in the river, then you put it down lower. That's called a portage. That's a French word for that, is portage. But the English have taken it and made it portage, which I think sounds stupid. It's portage. And it drives me nuts that in Niagara Falls, it's Portage Road. It's like, no, it's Portage Road, you fuckers. Anyway, that's unrelated. He was going to have sex with the donut, so he didn't care about the flavor. Yeah, no. Whatever makes sense to stick my dick in it.
The flavor is sex donuts flavor.
Yeah. Others condemned Zukowski's comments as an act of voter intimidation, especially given the sheriff's high-ranking position in law enforcement. Yeah, you think?
It is an act of voter intimidation.
The county sheriff saying, "Hey, let's make a list of all the Harris voters." Like, yeah, no, that's voter intimidation. Duh.
You might as well just say it. Let's have a list of all the heretics.
Yeah, the ACLU of Ohio said that it has received several complaints about Zukowski's post from Portage County voters. They said, over the weekend we had people reaching out saying that they did feel intimidated and that they are considering changing their, I don't want to say change their behavior, but perhaps not putting up yard signs. That is changing behavior.
That's just intimidation.
That is changing your behavior. You have been intimidated out of putting up yard signs. That is changing your behavior. And like some of these people are going to see that and they'll be like, oh, I don't know if the sheriff can see whether or not I voted for a Democrat, so I'm just not going to vote. So like now, for the record, the sheriff should not be able to see who you vote for. So you should still be able to vote. Nobody should be able to see who you vote for. They just see your vote. So yeah, if your county sheriff is saying don't vote for Harris, otherwise we will keep an eye on you, you can still vote for Harris. But like putting up yard signs, like if you see a bunch of yard signs supporting a candidate that you also support, you're more likely to go out and vote because like you see that as a more likely option to win. So like even just intimidating people out of putting up yard signs could, like, that's voter intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
Zukowski is running for re-election on November 5th, the same day as the presidential race. So remember when I said that down ballot things matter as well?
Yeah.
Like, Ohio people, vote this motherfucker out.
Let's get rid of him.
His Democratic challenger is John Barber, and he said Zukowski's comments could affect trust between public and police. You think?
Gee, I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder if it could.
He points out, because this is more than just the election. This is like people are out here afraid that when they call police, they're going to look up my, like, are they going to look up my voting record? Are they going to look and see if I have it? Like, maybe, like, is Zukowski keeping a list of these addresses? Is he going to see that I had a Harris sign on my lawn, and so when I call 911 for something urgent, they're going to not send police out right away? Because they know who I voted for, or they suspect who I voted for.
We know who your vote was for.
Now, to be fair, police usually make things worse. So realistically, if police don't make it out to a call, that's probably a good thing. Like, statistically speaking, that's just the way it works in America, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
But, yeah, that doesn't mean that this is the way it should be.
It hurts my brain to think that there is a guy out there in a position of absolute power, because that's what a position of sheriff is, right? You've got a lot of responsibility, but let's be fair. You have the power to end people's lives.
Apparently, the New York mayor was just indicted. I know the name Eric Adams, but I don't know what he's known for, so I have no comment on this at the moment. I'm sure that'll be next week's news story.
Yeah. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
We live in interesting times.
Yeah. I mean, my basement's still open to you. I'm not sure how the logistics are going to work once assuming I move into the house that we have our eye on.
As of right now, there's not a whole lot of ability to do that kind of movement. Yeah, too costly, too many animals.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out in November. Everybody vote for Harris so that I don't have to take Cyrus into my basement.
That would be preferable, yes. I don't want to be forced into the basement. The man is going to make me do terrible things. Hello.
Tweet time. Oh.
Yay. Your partner what?
I don't know. She said I have to read her thing. Did you send me something on WhatsApp? Just okay, P. Diddy?
Okay, Pete. Oh my god.
Oh, because I'm taking Cyrus into my so I am P. Diddy. Oh fuck. No, Cyrus, you do not have to have sex with me. You are welcome to if you want to. But that is not a condition of your asylum. Not a condition.
Jesus Christ.
Dark Falcon, who's been a member for 5 months, thank you, Dark Falcon, says, I wish they weren't that interesting. I don't remember what we were talking about when you said that initially, so hopefully that'll make sense in retrospect. Anyway, on to the tweets. We're starting with Benny Schutz, who posted a picture of a button that says we add more genders every time you complain. And Ben's comment on this was clear admission that the entire trans movement is made up. It's not science, reality, or truth. It's a delusional, reactionary, and vindictive fiction. Source, this button.
So that button is to make fun of people like you, Benny. You are the butt of that joke.
I pointed that out to him. I commented on this. I was like, hey, I went to, if you go to research.vicerhino.com, you'll see a huge list of research that supports that trans people are real, that gender affirming care has the best outcomes for everybody, that like puberty blockers are fine, like there's entire categories in that. But and so I responded to him with being like, nope, trans people actually do exist. Source. And then I linked to my list of things, and then like I replied to myself being like, you'll notice that your source that trans people aren't real is a button that somebody made specifically to make you angry, that you then got angry at. And my source is a bunch of like peer-reviewed scientific literature. And his response to that was basically, nuh-uh, debate me, bro. And then of course my response to that was like, no, I like the existence of my friends and my children is not a matter for debate. Fuck you. It's settled science. You are anti-science. Fuck off.
Yep.
So, yeah. Benny Schutz is a piece of shit. I actually did call him a piece of shit. And he was like, oh, you're resorting to name calling, so you automatically lose. I'm like,
that's not how that works.
That's not how this one works, man. Like, you just want to be a bigot.
The ad hominem fallacy has to do with using an insult as a way to dismiss a claim. But there's a difference between saying you're stupid, therefore your claim is wrong, versus your claim is wrong, therefore you're stupid. There is a huge difference between those two things.
Yeah, I'm just looking for my response. Okay, here we go. So yeah, I said scientific evidence that trans people exist in gender affirming care is the best outcomes for everyone. Source, that's research.vicerhino.com. It's an entire list of scientific sources that like feel free to drop on any transphobes mentions, and they don't know what to do with it because like it's literally a scientific fact that trans people exist. They are valid, and gender affirming care is best for them and best for everyone. To which his response was, all of this has already been proven to be bogus. I would debate you publicly on any of this info, anytime, any place. I guarantee you that when he says all of this has been proven to be bogus, he's just thinking of the Cass report.
Yeah, and the Cass report that deliberately omitted.
The Cass report that has been definitively proven to be bogus.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I responded by saying, like, oh, there is no debate to be had. Y'all are just trying to oppress another minority group just like you want to do with the rest of the LGBTQ people. I'm sorry that you're determined to be shitty, but I'm not going to legitimize your shittiness by treating it seriously. Because I'm not. Like, the existence of some of my children is not a matter for debate in my eyes. Like, this is a discussion I had with my partners. Like, what is the end game? Like, these people think that we're pushing our kids into being trans. What is the end game here? Life would be so much easier if all of my kids were just cis. If they were hetero and cis, life would be way easier for them. It'd be way easier for me. It'd just be easier all around.
So,
what do I stand to gain to push them into being trans?
Let me ask you a very serious question. So are you telling me full chest that no one told you life was going to be this way?
I don't know exactly what you mean by that. I will say, like, when my wife and I first, with our first child, when we got pregnant, this is back when I was a fundamentalist Christian. One of the conversations we had was, what happens if our baby is gay? And the best that I could come up with was, I'm sure that's not going to happen. Because I honestly didn't know what I would do with that.
Well, I will say this. At the very least,
Rosina
both
says,
of your chats got it.
Transphobes ain't gonna. Oh, was there a reference that I missed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Transphobes ain't gonna read, says Rosina. Yeah, no, they're not. Morbid Palace cheered 10 bits. Thank you for that. But yeah, no, like being trans is living life on hard mode.
Mm-hmm.
Being a trans parent, so you can't see me, you can see right through me because I'm transparent.
Is being trans
so like,
the Dark Souls of life?
So like it's not as hard for me as it is for the kids, but it's still difficult. Like I go into the school and like, what name do I give you for my child? I know the legal name, but like, do you know the preferred name? Sure. I know some of the schools do, some of them don't, but like, is this particular secretary trans affirming, or are they like thinking that I'm just trying to push my kids into being trans or whatever? So like, how do I talk to this secretary? Like, I just want this interaction to go as smoothly as possible because like my kid needs something and I don't need it to be a whole thing. And it's just, and like, you know, my partner just pointed out, she like, all of her sisters just like stopped talking to her when they found out that one of our kids is trans. And it's just like, she's been very close to them for her whole life. And now she's lost that because they think we are pushing one of the kids into being trans. Like, no, why would we fucking do that? It doesn't make fucking sense.
Oh, whoa.
There's like, but, and like, when you think about the fucking stakes here, what is at stake with a kid being trans? Like, just hypothetically, just pretend all of society does the worst that these people can say, and they just accept everybody for whatever gender they say they are. What is the worst that's going to happen here? Someone with a penis is going to wear a dress. Oh my fucking God, that's so horrible! Like, no, the stakes are so fucking low and these people get so fucking upset. I'm sorry. I'm very emotional about this because like, and this is why I won't debate it, because this is like integral to people that I care about. They are like, this is their life. They just want to be left alone and just live their life in fucking peace. And then these people come along and be like, no, you have a penis, so you can't be like that. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
No, I take it back. I'm not sorry that I'm mad about this. This is a thing to be mad about. The fact that these people are, like, bullying my fucking children! They're children, for fuck's sake!
They're in the house.
And they're in the house, as my partner reminded me, so I should stop yelling.
Oh, I wasn't gonna stop you.
Yeah, no, but, like, they don't need to hear my streams.
Yep, that's entirely fair.
Zada Hagala says, YouTube really hates when you SC on an iPad. That's why I sound drunk/stoned. Anyway, I'll be really impressed if either of you know Joe Cartoon. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Zada Hagala. I don't know that one. But yeah, no, I'm very angry about people that don't just accept my kids for who they are. Because like they're not trying to mess with your life. They're just being themselves. The stakes are so fucking low. Just accept them for who they are. Fuck off.
That's all they have to do, and yet they don't want to.
Yeah, and why is just beyond me. Like, the stakes are so fucking low. Like, what's the worst that could happen if everybody accepted that, like, people could self-identify with gender? Nothing. Nothing. There's literally nothing that could go wrong with that. So just fuck off. Yeah, so that's why I'm not debating Benny Schetz, because
he's a piece of shit.
The right of my kids to exist is not something that's up for debate with me. Stoff says, angry Rhino fan art coming soon, I guess. Go for it, man. Okay. The critical drinker. Yeah, we're getting
this piece
I'm
of
sure
shit.
you've seen this one. It says, is it just me or character creation screens nothing but a stupid narcissistic waste of time?
No, they're not. If you're playing an RPG, the character creation is actually fairly important to how the game ends up being for you.
I will say, as someone who fucking hates character creators, I will just like select one of the defaults or click randomize or whatever. I do think character creation is a bit of a waste of time. Like, I'm not into the whole role-playing aspect of role-playing games. I just want to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
However, it doesn't bother me that people have options because I can still just click random or one of the presets.
Mm-hmm.
People having options is not a problem. I don't understand why it would be a problem. But this isn't what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about one of the responses. Excuse me, one of the responses to this that I saw, which was Horror Amorata says, they've become that since people who don't understand gaming pushed their way in. A good character is fun. This is not fun.
What is this, though?
Well, this is the whatever that game is that like is letting people have like mastectomy scars.
Who cares?
Yeah, no, nobody cares. Well,
don't put on the mastectomy scars.
Idiots care. Like, yeah, no, you can just not have those on your character, and that's fine. And like, I get it. As someone who does not care about character creators, having a complex and in-depth character creator is kind of annoying. But like, the random option is still there. The preset options are still there. You can
it's not
just
a selling point to you.
You can just not do the things that you don't like. That's actually the joy. That's the joy of the character creator. If there's a character that can be created that you don't like, you don't have to create that character. You can create one that you do like.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you don't like the scars on the chest? Don't have scars on your chest.
It's very simple.
You don't like a feminine-looking character with a penis? Don't create a feminine-looking character with a penis. You can create whatever fucking character you want. That's the point. And it's like, as someone who hates character creators, I understand that that's the point. I understand that that is a thing that people like. And I'm okay with those options being there and me just not using them. Because it doesn't affect me whatsoever.
This sounds like a lot like another situation. Another situation we might have talked about 5 minutes ago. About how, somebody's kids aren't affecting you, so why the fuck do you care?
You trying to get me mad again?
I'm not trying to get you mad. I'm just referencing, the good old times of 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to not wake my children up with me screaming about how some people in the world hate them for no fucking reason.
Yeah, completely understandable.
Joey. Good old Joey. Says, Trump was president for 4 years. Can anyone name anything that he did that was a threat to democracy? I'll wait.
I'll wait. Okay, cool. I can go ahead and give you one right off the top of the bat. The Supreme Court justices that he brought in play actually allowed him to basically assassinate his political rivals. That is a direct thing that he did. He appointed the justices that allowed him to do that.
I was going to go more direct than that, and so is the chat. January 6th.
The insurrection.
The coup.
Yeah, the coup.
Like, literally,
that's the thing.
He literally tried to overthrow democracy. Is that not a threat to democracy?
Yeah.
Like, is there anything that is more definitionally a threat to democracy than trying to overthrow democracy?
Yeah, you're right. I was doing too much work there.
You're getting all nuanced and shit.
I apologize for nuance, okay? I should have used old aunts.
Yeah. Josh Dawes says, it's okay to use deception in service of defeating the left. It's not sinning in order to do good. It's being righteously shrewd in order to do good. It's also okay to enjoy it. Lighten up.
What?
It's okay to lie in order to defeat the left. It's not a sin to tell lies as long as that gets you your political goals.
So, like, on the one, I agree with the spirit of his argument, right? Because this is something that Eric Hovind failed when he was asked, what would you do if you were in Nazi Germany and you had a Jewish friend who was in your basement and the SS came to knock on your door? Would you tell the truth and tell them your Jewish friend is there, or would you lie to protect your Jewish friend? And he said, no, the right thing to do is tell the truth in every situation.
Answers in Genesis has a whole article still up on their website today, written by Bodie Hodge, explaining why it's wrong to lie to a Nazi to hide a Jew.
Yeah, if you don't want to be called a Nazi ever in your life, you maybe shouldn't give Nazi apologia on your actual fucking website, because that's what that is. That's Nazi apologia. So I agree with the spirit of this, that it is okay to use deception to do a good. I do not believe that defeating the left is a good here. I don't know what this man would even consider the fucking left. I don't think it's being righteously shrewd. I think it's being underhanded.
This is with reference. I'm pretty sure this is with reference to the JD Vance and the eating the dogs and cats thing. Where it's like, no, you are telling a lie that is doing objective harm to an already oppressed minority. So like, fuck off with that noise.
Yep.
But like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yes, I would lie to a Nazi to hide a Jew, but that's not what they're getting at.
It's one of the, like, at the basic level, yes, it's okay to lie. There are lots of situations where lying is all right. If your goal is to prevent the left from winning, whatever the fuck that means, that's a really strange and esoteric thing. It could be the election or it could be the culture war. Again, whatever the fuck that actually is. I don't think that's okay, because you need to look at what the actual lie is causing. In the case of defending your Jewish friend, a life is not taken. In the case of what JD Vance did, several lives got threatened. Very, very violently threatened.
Yep. Yeah, they're now threatening school children with bombings because of what they said.
And they will not take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
They refuse to. They can't.
No, because there weren't actual bombs, so it's okay that we told lies that led to the threats.
So it's okay to do bomb threats at schools now. There weren't actual bombs.
You can't say that on a YouTube video, Cyrus. The bots are not smart enough to parse that out.
Unfortunate. This will mean it's another hole. It's another hole to jump through for your new editor.
Yeah, no, because I'm still uploading the video, so I still have to self-report this is monetizable or not. I'm still gonna try and get away with it.
I'm gonna try to get away with it too.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
Oh yeah. So Kevin Sorbo says, without mentioning her race, gender, or the fact that she isn't Trump, why should anybody support Kamala? Because her policies are better than Trump's?
Like,
all of them?
First of all, I want to say the decentralized party, I don't need a fucking crypto set of people telling me what to do.
We haven't read that one yet. We're just still on Sorbo.
God damn it!
Why would you vote for Kamala, aside from her race, gender, or the fact that she's not Trump?
Let's see here. She wants to actually put a tax cuts for low and middle class people. She wants to provide aid for people who need medical assistance, up to 25
incentives for people to start small businesses.
Yeah, like if we need to talk about Kamala Harris and what she actually does, what she actually wants to do, we can do things like talking about how she wants to lower the energy costs for American citizens. Yeah. We can talk about her projects to protect civil rights and freedoms. We can talk about the way she wants to tackle the opioid and fentanyl crisis. She has an entire plan set up for that right now that she has on her website. We can talk about...
It drives me nuts that Republicans are like, oh, Kamala Harris has no policy positions. Meanwhile, if you watch the debate, who's the person that actually said like numbers with regard to their specific policy positions? Like, this is the specific number of dollars that I am going to give in a tax cut for these people. This is the specific number of dollars that is going to be available to people in this category. Like, that's policy shit. Whereas Trump the entire time was like, oh no,
I have concepts of a plan.
I have concepts of a plan, and they're eating the dogs and the cats in Springfield.
Yep.
Nothing fucking specific. It was all just repackaged, like, oh, I can't just say she's old because she's actually younger than me, so what do I fucking do now? I don't know. Like, I have a concept of a plan.
Like the fact that she even has a plan in place right now for ending veteran homelessness. That is one of the things that she wants to work on when she gets in office, which is important because there are plenty of United States veterans who got trained to be a weapon on foreign soil. So by the time they come back home, they are hit with multiple problems.
Yeah.
Problem one, they have been trained to kill and don't have any fucking usable skills. They come over here and they do not have a concept of how to operate anymore. Two, PTSD and trauma, which can make it almost impossible for them to be able to get a regular civilian job for long. Three, and this is a huge one, when they go into the military and spend multiple years out, they gain respect, they gain clout, they gain all kinds of things that are amazing for their mental health and bravado. And when they come here, they are considered a 22-year-old child, despite going through 10 billion times more than the average other manager who would be middle managing every single fucking thing that they do. Those people struggle very fucking hard. Trying to adjust to civilian life. So it's really fucking important to try to have systems in place that can prevent them from going homeless. I've come from a military family. This is one of those things that I'm really fucking hard on.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I am pretty anti-military. However, when you talk about people who like literally gave up the prime years of their life in military service for their country, to then just bring them home and toss them, like cut them loose. Like, no, we're not going to support you at all.
Yeah, you don't have a fucking integration. You don't have an integration program for them. That is
cold as fuck. Like, you have asked these people to give up the prime years of their life in exchange for committing political violence on your behalf. Like, the least you can do is make sure they have a fucking place to live.
The closest thing we have in most situations right now, aside from really, really middling VA help, which is not enough for everything the VA can do on paper, they never actually fucking execute. I have friends who are 55 goddamn years old and are military veterans who can never get fucking help from the VA, despite needing it desperately.
So the other 1987 says, I don't like the military either, but I agree. This is a principle thing where, like, if you are going to pretend like fighting for your country is this honorable thing that people
then
like sacrifice to do, you need to take care of the people who are fucking doing that. So to just cut them loose when they get back and be like, nope, you're on your own now. Capitalism, yay! Like, no. Like, that's not how it should work there.
The most we have from the military, we have two things that are helpful, but one of them only works if you've been in the military for like 12 plus years. One of these is the GI Bill. The GI Bill can be used to get you through college while you are in the military, and for a little bit of time afterwards. It's not always really reliable for that. But the GI Bill can pay your way through college, which can allow you to get a good civilian job. But you usually have to take advantage of your GI Bill while you are in the military, which is stressful as fuck to be able to do. The other thing that we have is we have a small bit of retirement packages that veterans can use that allow them to have supplemental income where they can take a civilian version of a job they were already doing in the military. And even though they won't be paid as much for the civilian job, the half paycheck they take as a retirement from the military combined with the civilian version of their job ends up being enough to make ends meet, depending on what the job is. For my dad, he was a master load sergeant, and now he works training people how to fly planes for deliveries because we have shit like Amazon that needs new pilots all the goddamn time. That's what he does based on his time when he was in the military. The problem is that there is no program of conversion. We don't have a system in place for actively converting an ex-military person into a civilian version of the same duty they were doing.
Fennec says, have you ever read the book The Body Keeps the Score? And I know my partner is, I don't know if she saw that thing, but like, yes, she has read that book. And she has mentioned it to me several times.
This is, I was heavily considering when I was leaving school going into the Air Force. I was never able to get into the Air Force because I didn't meet the weight requirements. I still don't meet the weight requirements now. Technically, I could get into the Air Force right now if I met the weight requirements, even at 32. But no, like the way we treat our servicemen when they come home, it is one of those things that I can fixate on and get really fucking pissed on because I've got friends who are old veterans and my family is made up of them.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on to the response to this post, the only thing I can think of is she is Indian and Trump is Jewish, which still leaves not much to go on. So I think this person just heard Trump say that he has Jewish grandchildren because his daughter married Jared Kushner, who is Jewish.
But that doesn't make Trump just Jewish by default.
Well, no, I don't think they know how heredity works, where they're like, oh, he has Jewish grandchildren, so he must be Jewish.
This isn't like the fucking...
No, this is what happens when you court racist people. They don't think miscegenation is the thing. So, like, someone married Jewish people, they must also be Jewish, because non-Jewish people would never marry Jewish people. That's gross. Miscegenation is gross. No, this is what happens when you court racist people. They don't understand basics like that.
These are
the same people that don't understand how Kamala Harris can be both Indian and black.
It's not like that episode of Family Guy where fucking they found out that Optimus Prime was a Jew. This is not like that episode where there's like, you could just
I'm not aware
just
of that
convert.
episode.
It works with that. It's the Peter has really, really bad financial savviness. He's horrible.
So every episode?
Yes, but he decides he wants to finally fix it, so he sings a song called I Need a Jew.
Oh, God. That sounds horrible.
And then their financial advisor, who, of course...
I have mixed feelings about Family Guy.
It's got some strange things going on in it.
I know.
It really
what's
does.
His face, Seth, whatever the fuck his name is. I know he
Seth
means
MacFarlane.
Yeah. I know he means well usually. But there are some times where it's just like, oh, really? Did you have to do that?
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane, he sometimes does not do well by the subject matter that he is trying to talk about.
Yeah.
And that is it is kind of a shame. Even in some of his other stuff that is considered like really, really good and progressive, like the Orville, there's still some missed sections there. There's a trans episode in the Orville, for instance, that deals with a race of people that force transition everybody to being male, and it tries to be a commentary on being trans, but it ends up accidentally instead being a commentary on the way we treat intersex people instead, because all of the mechanics involved are far closer to what we do with forced surgeries for intersex people. So it just ends up missing the boat there.
So Olivia says, I know Rhino won't say it unless prompted. Press like. Thank you, Olivia. I won't say it unless somebody pays me to say it. Yeah, I remember that episode of the Orville. I haven't seen past season 1 of the Orville. I do remember that episode. Yeah, and I remember thinking it seemed pretty progressive at the time.
It's one of those things where, depending on your lived experience, it either speaks to you. Like I have a friend who is intersex and did have that surgery when she was a child, and the doctor, of course, chose the wrong genitalia, and now she is dealing with those consequences as an adult. So there are friends of mine who that episode can speak to, but there are other people in my circle who are trans and look at that and go, this episode tried really hard to represent me, and it really dropped the ball representing me. I had a more positive view on that episode before listening to the perspectives from other friends of mine who had watched it too.
That is specifically why in the past when I've done videos that are like, if it just touches on it, I generally don't do this. But if it's like, if one of my videos is like the whole video is going to be about this specific thing, if it's trans related or whatever, I will often like reach out to some of my friends in that community, like multiple of them, and be like, hey, can you read through my script before I record this and give me some feedback so I can make sure that I'm actually representing you correctly?
Mm-hmm.
And Secular Storm Chaser says the next season revisits it, so I guess they try to fix it later.
Yeah, it's like it's a thing that definitely means well. A lot of times
he tries.
He tries.
He's
and
better
Seth
than
MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane is better than Bill Maher. I'll give him that.
He is better than Bill Maher. I will say, though, it is nice that Seth MacFarlane has grown a bit as a creator on trans issues, because if you look at his earliest trans representation in Family Guy, it's
what's his face's dad?
Quagmire's dad.
Yeah.
Who is referred to as Quagmire's dad despite being post-transition many times. And just there's all kinds of like this person acts more like a predator now that they've transitioned stuff that happens in there too.
I'm so sorry, Cirrus. I have to derail the conversation for a minute. Doremo 10 says Dick Cheese is better than Bill Maher. You're not wrong.
Are we back to Smegma?
We are back to Smegma. This reminded me of a thing. Just a second, I have to pull it up on Twitter because I posted it a while ago. Okay. I'm going to save this as an image and do that shit that way. I'm so sorry for doing this live. I meant to do this before, but I forgot about it while I was setting up the stream.
Oh dear.
Someone did something. I assume that's a hat. Oh no, that's a hydrate. Yay. Hydrate.
Hydrate before you dihydrate.
I have my water, so I will. There we go. So, if y'all remember, you remember that book that I talked about last week that was supposedly an erotic fiction where the whole premise of the book is that the main character had magical smegma that cured people's STIs. So
yeah, I remember.
When I was editing the clips, I was like, I want to get a picture of the cover of that book to put into the clips. And the place where you go for book covers often is Goodreads. And the thing about Goodreads is it will tell you, hey, people who enjoyed this book, people who positively rated this book, also positively rated this book. And the thing that, so the people who fantasize, the people who enjoy fantasies about how their dick cheese is good actually also happen to give good reviews to, the book in the middle here is Trump, The Art of the Deal.
You showed me this.
So now it is canon in my mind that hardcore MAGA people fantasize about how their dick cheese is good, actually. So they never wash themselves. They just let the cheese accumulate, and they assume it's a good thing because Piers Anthony told them so with his pornocopia book.
I have the best cheese.
So, yeah. MAGA people have unwashed dicks with lots of cheese. That's
the best cheese.
Yeah. Like, I had no idea that was going to happen when I looked at, I thought it was fucking hilarious. And yeah, so thank you for reminding me of that.
Jesus Christ.
Whoever super chatted something about dick cheese. And I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry.
Are you though?
Not really. No, I think
something tells
hilarious.
me you're not really sorry at all, actually.
Did I tell you the sequel to that book was called The Magic Fart?
Yes, you did. I remember.
Okay. I've never read the sequel, so I can't tell you what that's about, but I guarantee it's going to be
remember
gross.
Somebody in the chat saying they had read the sequel when we...
Oh, I'm sorry to whoever you are.
When we last chatted about this wannabe abortion.
Yeah. No. It's such a bad book. I can't believe I used to like him as an author. Anyway, back to the tweets. Oh, the MyPillow guy. They tweeted out they had a sale on MyPillow. How much are the MyPillows?
$14.88.
Does that number mean anything?
Yes, that means Heil fucking Hitler.
Oh, that's not racist at all, or
no, definitely not at all. I wonder if you're
That's
targeting a certain audience.
That's not a dog whistle. Like so I saw this post and my first thought was like, okay, for $15 maybe I'll get a MyPillow just to make fun of it. But then I was like, oh no, that's $14.88. That's a very specific number that has a very specific meaning. Like, maybe you get there accidentally.
Well,
but Mike Lindell did not get there accidentally.
No, you don't get there accidentally.
Rosina said no one super chatted about Richard Cheese. I'm sorry that nobody super chatted about Richard Cheese.
Dick Cheese.
Wayne Cotton says, didn't they change it to 1498 or something? That would make sense. But like, it was 1488 first. And like this, like, I took this screenshot. I didn't save someone else's screenshot. This is what it was when I took it. Like, this is not fake. This is what they were really charging for that.
He's baffled by people calling him a Nazi. God,
although he doesn't have the mustache anymore because he shaved it to go to the DNC, to get beaten up by a 12-year-old.
That was very cathartic.
It was. He like, if you're not familiar, look it up on YouTube. He literally like started yelling at a 12-year-old who completely demolished him. Just being like, "Oh,
he fucking dog walked him."
Yeah, it was great. It was amazing. It's like you see an adult trying to berate a 12-year-old, and the 12-year-old is just like, "Really? So your sources trust me, bro? Okay." It was great. It was amazing.
It's everything that you could have ever wanted, and even more.
I came to that several times. Which actually reminds me, Benny Shetz.
That reminds you of something.
It reminds me of Benny Shetz. Benny Shetz accused me of, I forget what it was, but I tweeted something out and he responded to me, and like he had a 4-point thing. And point number 4 was like, everything you do is based on your political and religious hatred. And so I responded to that, and I responded to his 4 points. And to point number 4, I responded with, yeah, no, I actually can't come unless I think about how much I hate Republicans. I'm like, what am I supposed to say to that? Like, there's no way I'm taking you seriously here. So yeah, I'm going to make a gross joke that you're going to absolutely hate. So like, you walked into it. Sorry. You walked into my coming to Republicans.
I'm sorry you had to see that, everybody. Just so you know, I'm not normally like this. Would you be a good dear and get a saltine cracker for the cheese you've now witnessed?
I mean, it's actually great for my sex life because like I can go forever until I think of how much I hate Republicans, because that's what I have to do in order to come.
Your life is just sitting there like backstroke, front stroke, backstroke, front stroke. It's been 3 hours. You're raw. We've gone through 3 things of lube just to make sure that we don't cause friction burns. But I won't stop until I think of Mike Lindell.
No comment. Oh, so here's the one I've been referencing all stream. The Rabbit Hole posted this graph saying Democrats dominate academia. Explaining how like all of these fields, all the experts in these fields overwhelmingly are Democrats. And then Elon Musk retweeted this saying, wow. Like, yeah, no, all the most educated, most intelligent experts on all these different subjects all lean left.
Just happen to be Democrats.
That's not the win you think it is. It's like, I know what you're trying to say here, but what you're actually saying is smart people don't vote for the same people you do.
Gee, I wonder why.
Dark Falcon says, that's an interesting fact, Senator. Mind backing it up with a source? My source is that I made it the fuck up.
That is a Metal Gear Rising Revengeance reference. That's Senator Armstrong.
I was just going to say that that's J.D. Vance's M.O.
Senator Armstrong is J.D. Vance if he was muscle bound.
Sure.
110%.
I'm glad you got the reference.
Senator Armstrong is a reference that you should get at some point. Just watch the cutscenes that involve him for Metal Gear Rising.
Well, I have to pee, so you can talk about Senator Armstrong while I'm doing that.
Look,
and I'm not playing the music again because last time it got copyright claimed. And that, like, in the clips, I actually sped it up. And I didn't pitch correct, so it's like me singing like a chipmunk, and it's kind of great, and I love it, but I also kind of hate it. So yeah, you're just gonna... Please don't narrate my peeing, talk about Senator Armstrong.
Okay, we'll just talk about Senator Armstrong saying, don't f with this, Senator. Uncle Sam needs you to die, Jack. FedEx says, how did your own song get copyright claimed? Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. Said he's thought too much about Republicans. We know what's going on. Oh my God. Okay, so for those who don't know, the Metal Gear Solid series is a wonderful series about espionage. Not really, but also yes, really. It is about nuclear weapons just going into all of the wrong hands, and Senator Armstrong is basically what happens if you have an American senator who has access to nuclear launch codes. Oh, and nanomachines, son. Those two. Those are a thing as well. Mark says Rhino's original song got copyright claimed. By who? Rhino? It was by alternate Rhino. Angry Rhino. Bad Rhino. Hitchmeister says John Fogerty got sued for sounding too much like himself. That's ouch. That's kind of awkward and bad. That's like when Tony Hawk had to be like, yeah, no, I look like Tony Hawk because I am Tony Hawk. Like at a certain point, you just have to accept that you're too good at being you. Sunshini, Autobots, son. Oh my God. Lord of Uzkalak says some people think Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is not political. Yeah, some people think Metal Gear isn't a political series. It 100% is. Everything in Metal Gear is political, especially the immaculately animated fried eggs from Metal Gear Solid 3. 4. That's in 4. Sir, is you going to play the upcoming Yakuza game? So Die Hard Anime Otaku, I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't played any Yakuza games yet. I've heard that they are a fantastic experience, but I have not done any of them at all.
So the best part about this is that now that I have an editor, I will never know what you said while I was gone.
You will never know that I said, machine, son. They harden in response to physical trauma.
Yeah, no,
you can't hurt me, Jack.
I'm not going to watch my own video.
Don't fuck with this senator. I fucking love Senator Armstrong. He's great.
Okay.
Uncle Sam needs you to die, Jack.
Alrighty. Next tweet. Rob Schmidt says, you suffered for 3.5 years and now gas prices are plummeting right before the election. This is how little they think of you. Do they think the president has a dial on their desk for gas prices that they can just turn whenever they want?
When I was the president, I had a dial and it turned the gas prices way down. I didn't put it to $1 a gallon because I respected you too much for that.
Like, do they not know that the world economy is a thing? Like, gas prices are high in Canada, too. Kamala and Biden aren't in charge here. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Like, gas prices are so high that I'm happy that I have an electric car.
Yeah, Van Briggs just went, wait, you mean Metal Gear Solid was a series about nuclear proliferation? Yeah, really weird how the Metal Gears are basically just nuclear subs. That's all they've ever been. They are nuclear subs on legs, and the entire story from top to bottom is about politics. Always has been, which is why the second most recent villain in the entire goddamn series is just a senator. That's all he is.
Well, I just think it's hilarious that they think the president can like single-handedly bring down gas prices to be like, hey, yeah, no, you can vote for me because gas prices are like, no, would it not be better for them to just have gas prices low their entire time and be like, yeah, no, Trump is lying to you because like you buy gas, don't you? Look at what I did. Like, would that not be better for them?
You would think it would be, but
like gas prices are super expensive in Canada right now. That doesn't make like it's not because of Biden, nor is it because of Trudeau. It's because of other economic factors that, like, yeah, things that the president and the prime minister do can have an impact on it, but it's very limited.
Yeah, the scope of it isn't as all-encompassing.
Rosina says when Jesus was president, he ate babies. I believe it.
Good for him. You know what? I'm proud of him. I'm glad that he got there in the end.
Secular Storm Chaser says, dang that cheap diesel. So Circe and I actually had a conversation just before we went live about how, like, oh, if a hurricane hits me, It's like Cirrus was like, oh, I need to quickly go get gas so that I can like not be out of gas in the middle of a potential emergency situation. They're like, okay, yeah, sure. I'm just gonna sit over here sipping tea in my electric vehicle. And then Cirrus was like, yeah, well, you know what, the power's gonna go out, so you won't be able to charge your electric vehicle. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna sip tea that was brewed with my kettle that was plugged into the electric vehicle that is capable of charging or of powering my house for like 3 days in an outage. So like EVs are just better.
I'm going to find you, and I am going to give you lukewarm tea, and it is the only thing you will be able to consume for the entire day.
Yeah, that'll be annoying. Although,
there we go.
You know how I was complaining about the automatic lane feature thing?
Mm-hmm.
Axo is saying EVs are backup power. They can be. Not all of them are capable of doing it. Tesla doesn't like making it available. But yeah, so mine has just like a normal 120 volt outlet underneath the back seats that you can plug things in. Like you can plug an extension cord into that. But you can also get like an adapter that you can plug into the charge port that is the vehicle to load thing where you're not supposed to do it this way, but as long as you're careful with it and make sure that it's not going to be sending charge to the grid when the grid is supposed to be offline, resulting in dead workers on the grid. So like very serious, make sure you're doing it properly. But like you can actually wire your breaker panel so that you can plug your car into the breaker panel and it can power your whole house until the car's battery is dead. And the battery is big enough that it can, like, as long as you're conservative with your electricity use and like turn off unnecessary things, it could potentially be like 3 or 4 days of like having like your fridge and your furnace and whatnot running, like the actual necessities. But in order to actually like plug it into your breaker box, you have to make sure you have safety stuff on so you're not killing grid workers, because like that's the last thing they fucking need.
That's just kind of nuts. Technology's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and like electric motors are more powerful, they're more efficient, they're cheaper to operate, they require less maintenance. I don't understand why people are anti-electric. Like
because there's a gas lobby that
even the fucking people that are like, oh well, you know when you use electricity to charge your engine, you're burning coal to make that electricity. Guess what, motherfucker? Electric motors are just so much more efficient than fossil fuel motors that like even if you charge your electric vehicle with a gas generator, that would result in a higher efficiency, like more of the gas, like more of the potential energy stored in the gasoline going to actual kilometers traveled. That would still be more efficient than having an actual gas vehicle, like just burning the gas to go. Like burning the gas to charge your electric car would be more efficient than burning the gas to go, just because electric motors are so much more efficient. And then people are in the chat are pointing out, because I'm in Ontario, we don't burn coal. We have Niagara Falls making a lot of our electricity. We have nuclear making a lot of our electricity, which nuclear is actually fucking amazing. I don't know why so many green, like people that are in favor of green energy, I don't know why they're against nuclear. Like the best I can think of is that they're scared because there were a couple meltdowns and The Simpsons built on that over decades, talking about how nuclear is bad, it makes fish with 3 eyes or whatever. But yeah, no, it, like if you actually break it down, like incidents per kilowatt hour or whatever, like how many accidents or problems or like health concerns or deaths or whatever there have been per kilowatt hour produced, nuclear is actually safer than solar and wind. So it's green, it's safe, the waste is largely a non-issue. And even if you did power your electric vehicles with coal, it would still be better for the environment than driving gas cars. So like there are literally no downsides aside from the grid needs an upgrade, which admittedly is a fucking huge downside, but like that's something that needs to be solved anyway.
Just going back to what's actually sitting there on the screen, going back to the actual tweet.
Yeah.
Yes, gas prices are going down right now. I wonder if people remember that the war in Ukraine was the minute that our gas prices shot up. Because a lot of the distribution lines that we used got affected by the war in Ukraine.
And now Ukraine's doing a lot better than they were back then in the war.
Yep.
There might be a connection there.
Just possibly.
And now consider what Trump is going to do if he takes over. He's just going to roll over and let Putin take what he wants out of Ukraine. So, yeah, I feel like that'll be bad for gas prices.
Ooh. I love everything about the internet, I swear.
Everything?
Everything. All of it. Everything that's on it.
There's so many naked ladies just at your beck and call.
Yep. I can pull them up. I can crank one out. My partner can walk in and just be like, yeah, it's entirely fine. It's okay. You don't have to hide that. We get all have a fun time.
The internet is designed such that I can enjoy looking at my heterosexual cis male partner's tits. Sir, so you got nice tits.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, jiggle. Internet. They got jiggle physics.
Big jiggle.
They got jiggle physics, Betty.
I love the so if there's one thing I do love about Live 2D, just sidebar, is the fact that there is no part of this model that is 3D. This is all 2D assets layered on top of one another.
Yeah, you got some nice assets there, Cyrus.
As evidenced by the fact that the hoagie at the top of the head does not smoothly transition between moving left to right. It has to literally bounce into existence.
I didn't even notice that until you said it. Now I can't unsee it. Thanks, Cyrus.
That's why that does that, because this is about 250 different 2D images layered on top of one another. There's no 3D asset involved.
Whatever works.
And it works quite well. Suzu did a great job.
Fennec says, how do y'all manage to traumatize me and make me laugh all in the same stream? It's a skill.
That's called chemistry. It's also how we make arsenic.
Yeah. Swirty says, some dude on Instagram just documented himself eating 720 eggs in a month and his cholesterol dropped 20%. Could it possibly be that medical industrial complex has been lying about cholesterol and saturated fat all along?
Wait, hold up a second. So, what cholesterol levels dropped? Because there's different kinds of cholesterol.
Not just that, what cholesterol levels dropped, what other changes did he make to his diet? Like, did he swap eating nothing but bacon for those eggs? There's so many variables, and this is like, I brought this up because I wanted to talk about how Fennec says it's 2 dozen eggs a day. Yeah, that's a lot of eggs. But there's so many variables that go into diet that the reason it's been flopping back and forth whether or not eggs are good for you is specifically because it's so hard to control for the other things that this person may or may not be eating.
I'm just glad that we have a real life example of Gaston finally. When he was a lad, he ate 4 dozen eggs every morning to help him get large. And now that he's grown, he'll eat 5 dozen eggs.
And I'm roughly the size of a barge. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad we have IRL Gaston here giving us the egg consumer representation.
No, because I just want to talk about the complexity here. Like, what did he take out of his diet to make room for those 720 eggs? Like, what is he now not eating that did that? Could that potentially have an impact on his cholesterol? Did he swap out nothing but potato chips for those eggs? So I can tell you, as someone who eats more potato chips than he should, my cholesterol is probably higher than it should be. If I stopped eating potato chips and every calorie that came from potato chips I swapped out for an egg, that would probably be a lot better for me in the long run.
Yep. It might be, but who knows?
But that's not something that is captured in the this is how many eggs I eat.
Also, when we're talking about different foods that give cholesterol, eggs is not the only thing that gives high cholesterol. Shellfish also contributes to high cholesterol. Any processed meat that you eat also has high cholesterol. Fried foods.
Rosina's pointing out that the medical establishment has said for decades that dietary cholesterol has no negative effect on blood serum cholesterol. I remember that being true. I don't have the source for that up at the moment, so I didn't want to say that authoritatively, but I also recall that being like kind of common knowledge, like ages ago.
Insane. It's insane to me. These are the people who try to do the dietary industry has been lying to you for years, and they're not wrong. That's the fucking problem.
Oh yeah, like you don't. Like,
they're not wrong.
You do not need milk anywhere near as much as the got milk commercials would have you believe.
You also don't need bread, for instance. It is not you don't need complex carbohydrates. You need carbs, yes, because they convert into glucose in the bloodstream, and glucose is needed to run your brain. But you don't need breads and grains the same way that the food pyramid pretended that you did. It's like a foundation staple of your diet.
Thank you for redeeming the hat, Sean Helfen.
Like, there's all kinds of shit that is wrong with how our food pyramid diet has been built up, and a lot of it was propped up by the sugar industry that wanted to run what was called the lipid hypothesis, where fats were the biggest problem in the entire world and sugar was a health food, ignoring the fact that despite the fact that fats have more caloric density than anything else.
Fennec is posting sources.
There you go. Sources on cholesterol. Like, yes, fat is more calorically dense per gram, but you can fit more fucking grams of sugar in various recipes. Like, for instance, Nutella. Did you know that it takes more than the volume of a jar of Nutella in sugar to make a jar of Nutella? Like, the amount of sugar that is required to make that jar, because it breaks down so fast because it's water soluble.
Yeah.
Like,
what happened to the eyeball here? Oh my goodness, it's so white.
Our industry does, like, our dietary industry does fucking lie to us. This is true. However, the 720 eggs in a month, could it be possible the medical industrial context is lying about all of this all along? Like, yes, they are lying, but not because your friend ate eggs.
If you eat that many eggs in a month, you probably are going to have other health concerns than cholesterol.
Like, if you eat that many eggs in a month, there is one situation in which that is good for you, and that is the...
Secular Storm Chaser is asking for the link in the YouTube chat, so I am going to post it. I have not read through the whole thing, however, I have seen a line in the abstract that says that there is a lack of correlation between dietary cholesterol and blood cholesterol. I'm not going to stand behind this study without actually having read through it myself. But generally, the abstract is where you would summarize your findings, and so if there was a correlation, they wouldn't say that there's a lack of correlation. So, yeah, and it's a meta-analysis, so it's not like they're not the ones doing the research themselves. They're looking at the other studies and being like, okay, this is what they found, and you know, these studies were good because of X, and these ones were bad because of X. Like, it's not a sure thing because it's a meta-analysis, because after all, the CAS report was kind of a meta-analysis, and it's bullshit. But yeah, no, it's offhand. I have no reason to say this is fake.
So, also on the eggs thing, technically speaking, eggs are one of the few foods, along with potatoes, that you can, for an amount of time, eat as your only primary food.
So what I'm hearing is I can live off potato chips. That's what you just told me. I will be perfectly healthy living off potato chips. That's what Cirrus just said.
I didn't say perfectly healthy.
This is Cirrus approved health advice. Everybody should ignore their doctors and just eat potato chips and nothing else.
Problem is when you eat potato chips, there's plenty of parts of the potato that have been burnt out. Many of the nutritional value has been cooked out of it. I said potatoes.
Potatoes.
So, yeah,
boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Throw them at your local senator. But so the only real problem with eggs is not the cholesterol. If you were eating that many eggs, the problem is you would have a carb deficiency. You have no essential carbs. You have no glucose going into your fucking brain. That's the main issue you would have. You would have most of your essential amino acids.
So it's keto. What I'm hearing you say is it's keto.
It is kind of keto. So it's actually there because there are two types of keto. There's dirty keto and then there's healthy keto. This is a form of dirty keto. Dirty keto is any keto diet that does not actually include all of the essential nutrients that you need for survival, bar carbs, right? And even a keto diet does not nix carbs. That is a misconception. Keto includes carbs. It is the net carbs that you have. For every bit of carb you have, you need to have a bunch more fiber to supplement it so your body will pass it through, as opposed to trying to hold on to it for its nutritional value. If you have only eggs, you are doing one of the dirtiest keto diets. You will technically go into ketosis in a week. You will have the benefits of it. You'll have the weight loss, and that's all fine and dandy, but you will be running like you are in a constant fog. Your brain will lose the ability to think properly and quickly.
This is actually why ketosis is a diet that should only be undertaken under medical supervision. Because like just cutting out all carbs, no, your body actually needs carbs. You can't just cut them all out like that.
Your body does need carbs. This is why if you look at any, quote, keto-friendly food, on the packaging, it doesn't say no carbs. It says net carbs. Your body does need an amount of them, but what you need is for your body not to hold on to them for so long. You need something to aid it in passing through, and that is what fiber is for. Keto needs to have more fiber in its diet than most regular functioning diets need, because you need something to balance out the carbs that you do fucking need, but you still need to be able to keep yourself in ketosis, and it's so easy to break yourself out of ketosis.
Rosina says cholesterol is like vitamin C. If you get too much, your body just stops processing it. In the case of vitamin C, it leaks out your anus. I didn't know it leaks out your anus. I thought you just pissed it out. But also, it's really easy to get too much vitamin C, which at a point, it actually becomes toxic and causes health problems. But the problem is everybody thinks that vitamin C is what you take to prevent the common cold. And so they will overdose on vitamin C. It does not, no. So they'll overdose on vitamin C and potentially cause themselves kidney problems because now their kidneys are having to filter all this stuff that's not needed out of their blood. So, yeah. I didn't know it came out the anus. I thought it just came out the bladder like everything else, but sure. Too much vitamin C causes anal leakage. Let's go with that.
In terms of the things that cause the most anal leakage, there's vitamin C and then Astroglide.
This is official medical advice with Rhino and Cirrus. Don't go to the doctor, just listen to us. Right.
So, like,
that was sarcasm. That was sarcasm. My God, please, that was do not take any medical advice from us. We're idiots. It was sarcasm.
So while the while the military stuff is something that I'm passionate about due to having such a high density of family members who are in the military, I've been on a weight loss journey for the last bit, a very on and off one for the last year and a half, but a far more concise one lately. So diet stuff is something that I can just hammer off really fucking hard because that's the shit that I'm studying all the fucking time right now.
Yeah.
But I am down from 285 to 268, so it is working.
That is good.
We'll slowly get down to where I want. I want to be a clean 200.
I need to go back to the gym, but I've been so busy with work recently. Like getting prepared for the vacation that we took and then recovering from the vacation has been so difficult. Plus, like we said, we're trying to sell our house and move right now, so I've been so busy for that. But hopefully hiring an editor will let me actually like take care of myself. That would be nice. That's the point of having people to help you.
That's why I have Cherry as an editor right now. It allows me to get my content done and then focus on other stuff. Now, ignore the fact that what I did was increase the amount of editing that I did to my Magic the Gathering content and therefore double my workload by offloading some of it to somebody else. Ignore the fact that I did that. That's not important. On the bright side, every Duskmorn pre-con upgrade is scheduled for this week and next week. All of that has been done, and I lost sleep doing it. I definitely only did it to be healthy for me, not to provide myself an opportunity to work more.
Hey, I want to see my kids again, okay?
I hope you have better luck than I did.
Well, you don't have kids, so I hope so too.
Okay, look,
Cirrus and I mean something very different when we say I'm going to drop the kids off at the pool.
Yeah, it's usually, but see, the
I
difference
mean
is
shit.
only
I don't know what Cirrus means.
The difference between the two of us is a matter of scale. For you, it's a handful. For me, it's a handful too, but it's weighted in millions.
What does that say about dick size?
Mine's 80B.
And mine's a handful.
Yeah, but how big are your hands?
My hands are huge. They're the biggest hands you've ever seen.
They say I got small hands. I don't have small. Look at them.
Okay, moving on. Oh no, that's the end.
We're not moving on. We're moving away.
We are done. We're ending on the dick size, hand size comparison.
Yes, perfect.
And
exactly what we needed.
Guessing about which one of our penises is bigger.
It's not mine.
I haven't found out yet, but go to onlyfans.com/ViceRhinoXCirrus and maybe I'll create that at some point and we'll do something with that. I don't know.
Look, my favorite Nintendo commercial of all time, which has nothing to do with my dick size, is
so
the "Are you in" commercial.
Oh. Axo is asking Stoff, whose is bigger? If anyone knows, it's Stoff.
Fan art is canon, so technically, whatever Stoff makes is
whatever Stoff decides is what becomes true. Stoff, that's your assignment.
It's not gay when the dick is on a woman.
I mean, don't we have a whole episode where the whole point of the episode is that it's not gay if you're just hot dogging it?
It's just between the buns. It was only for the convenience of it. By the way,
answer the question.
Please shave.
What question? I don't see any question.
What question, Jassa?
I see you did it explicitly for me. Finally, I will take the advice to heart, which I think was regards to our health advice. I don't know what question, Jassa.
Yeah, please repeat the statement, Jassa.
Does penis size correlate to poop size? Depends. Are you receiving the penis or giving the penis?
If you're receiving the penis, it will affect your poop size.
Yes, that's exactly what I was getting at.
It will change things inside you. You
Next
can even say that it might be
an article. So yeah, speaking of penises and changing things inside you, do the Bobert article.
Look, I'm just saying that the size of the poop will change after we rearrange the inside.
And apparently Stoff has been trying to convince you to start an OnlyFans for the VTuber model.
I don't have enough porn of the character to do that.
I was just talking to my partner today about potentially actually restarting her OnlyFans account with her feet, because she's been told that she has nice feet. For feet, like neither of us are into feet, but people who have said that they are into feet have said that they like it.
But then all of your patrons would be Catholic.
I was getting ready to say I'm okay with that until you said Catholic. Then I'm like, oh no, that's not a category of people I want to associate with.
Look, there's this weird obsession with anime women's feet.
I will let people jerk it to my partner's feet, but Catholic? Oh, I draw the line.
There's so much weird correlation between Catholic Twitter and anime women's feet Twitter, and I need somebody to study the connection there. I finally found the YouTube video on the connections between Sonic the Hedgehog and autism, and I'm glad we got that one out of the way. Now I need Catholic Twitter and feet Twitter. There is a connection there, I swear to God.
There probably is. I'm not going to talk about that, because I don't even want to speculate there. All I just know is that like neither my partner or I are into feet, but she's been told she has nice feet for those purposes. And so we're like, okay, if you want to get off on that, why not? But then neither of us really like have the follow through. So yeah. I am literally her OnlyFans on OnlyFans. and I'm not into the thing that she's providing on OnlyFans. But yeah.
I have bought a lot of stuff on my girlfriend's
I'm just like,
OnlyFans. I mean, what?
If she actually gets regular on OnlyFans, she's gonna have to give me a foot job at some point. I'm not sure how I feel about
just
that.
So you can see how it feels.
No, so it can go on OnlyFans.
Nah, that's fair enough.
So yeah, subscribe to my partner's OnlyFans if you want to see my dick, I guess.
Sean says, let's talk about the connection between Sonic and DC Comics. Yeah, that's because Sonic and the Justice League is a thing that's happening starting next year.
Capturing Christiana feet. I love that because I know that Cameron would hate that. So thank you for that.
Definitely a foot guy, though.
But he's not going to admit it, though.
He'll never admit it because that's unrighteous.
He won't even admit that he's Catholic. He will argue very publicly for very Catholic positions, but when it became apparent that he was going to lose Patreon subscribers over his being Catholic, he suddenly wasn't Catholic anymore.
Catholic machine,
he's such a fucking sellout. Like it's so fucking obvious. Anyway, that's it for the stream. So as always, fuck off.